Recently, a Reddit user posted a rather provocative picture. It is dated July 15th, 2025, 20 by 54 p.m., temperature 24 degrees Celsius. And at first glance is just a night shot of a trail in the forest, but in the lower right corner appears what we are here for. A dark, massive figure walking away from the camera towards the forest thicket. Is this just another fake, an unusual animal, or real proof of Bigfoot's existence? Let's start with the pose. The creature moves on two legs. It can be seen that the step is wide, the body is tilted forward, a gait that resembles the movements of primates, but with obvious differences from humans. The proportions of the body seem unusual. The length of the arms, which almost reach the knees, is particularly noteworthy. This is typical of the descriptions of Bigfoot that we have been hearing from eyewitnesses for decades. Now, the body texture. The object is covered with something dark and uniform. Judging by the glare, it is thick fur or wool. At the same time, the figure does not look like a man in a suit. There are no folds, no visible joints or artificial details. The camera's lighting highlights the silhouette, and we don't see any typical fake features, such as a disproportionately large head or ridiculously dangling limbs. It is also worth noting the context. The place is a narrow forest path, completely devoid of human activity. This is a typical route for nocturnal predators or wild animals, but the figure's behavior does not resemble the movement of, for example, a bear. She doesn't stand on all fours and doesn't look scared by the camera light. So, what do we have? Photo with no obvious signs of editing, with a figure matching Bigfoot's descriptions, taken in a remote forest at night. This is not proof of the existence of Bigfoot, but it is one of the most compelling visual evidence in recent times. We continue to monitor, search, and analyze Assert Terra step by step, frame by frame. While driving through an area known for Sasquatch sightings, a man kept an eye out, hoping to spot something unusual, and he did. He noticed a tree that had been bent and pinned behind another, an odd sight on its own. But considering the region's history, some believed it could be a possible sign of Bigfoot activity. Opinions were split. Some argued only a creature like Bigfoot could have bent the tree that way, while others insisted it must have grown like that slowly over time, since a sudden bend would have caused it to snap. So, what do you think? A chilling new trail camera video has recently gone viral after being posted on TikTok by the user Dead Cinema on June 9th, 2025. Allegedly filmed in Alaska, the clip is causing a stir online. The caption reads, "Unbelievable Bigfoot sighting caught on trail cam in Alaska. Watch as this elusive creature stares directly at the camera, raising more questions than it answers." Though the exact filming location remains unknown, it's said to have been captured deep in a forested area. The creature shown has an unsettling, almost haunting look, with facial features eerily reminiscent of a primate, and fur so realistic it seems almost tangible. But it's the creature's eyes that stand out most, glinting with an intelligent, almost human-like awareness. What's fueling the video's popularity is how unusually close and clear the footage is, which makes it all the more compelling. Skeptics, however, argue it may just be a well-crafted product of CGI or AI rather than a real-life creature, a possibility that's not far-fetched in today's digital age. Still, Alaska has long held a reputation as a Bigfoot hotspot, particularly in notorious areas like Port Chatham. Back in the 1940s, the settlement was abandoned after a string of mysterious and violent deaths, which some blamed on a Bigfoot-like entity. Locals spoke of a wild man dragging people into the forest and leaving behind massive human-like footprints. In places like Lake Clark National Park, witnesses have reported hearing bone-chilling roars, finding enormous tracks along riverbanks, and even rare visual encounters. Returning to the viral video, one of the top comments jokingly states, "That actually looks more legit than all those other Bigfoot videos. This one doesn't look like he just got back from the spa." It's a fair point. Many past sightings feature creatures that look far too clean and groomed for something supposedly living in the wild. So, the big question remains. Is this gripping trail cam footage a breakthrough in cryptid evidence, or simply the latest high-tech hoax? This quick Bigfoot clip has been going viral lately, so I thought I'd share it with you all. It's racked up hundreds of thousands of views, with many convinced it shows a real Sasquatch. I'm gonna play the video now. Let me know if you spot anything unusual.
I see, he's right there.
At first glance, it definitely looks like Bigfoot, right? But here's the twist. It's not Bigfoot at all. When people first saw the original video, many didn't realize this. It's actually just a fallen tree that happens to resemble Bigfoot. You can see the log is tipped over, with the broken base visible. When I first watched the clip, I genuinely thought it was a brown-haired Bigfoot sitting still in the clearing. But after a few more views, the truth became clear. There are tons of Bigfoot hoaxes online where people try to trick viewers. This time, we weren't fooled. Well, maybe some were. I'll admit, I was fooled at first too. So, to whoever made this video, you nearly got us. Deep in the forest, a hiker comes across something completely unexpected. A perfectly crafted shelter made entirely from branches. This wasn't just a random pile of sticks or debris leaned together. It was an intentional, arched, woven structure. Something you definitely don't stumble upon during a normal hike. No trail signs, no gear nearby. Just this mysterious wooden cave standing alone in the middle of nowhere. The hiker even mentioned it gave off a strange vibe. There were no nails, cords, or ropes holding it together. The branches were twisted and interwoven, not chopped. This kind of primitive yet purposeful construction matches descriptions of alleged Bigfoot nesting sites. Similar shelters have been found in Bigfoot hotspots ranging from Washington to Alabama. So, is this simply expert bushcraft in the wilderness? Or could it be evidence that some intelligent creature is building homes far from human eyes? What do you think this could be? Here's a recent Bigfoot video that provides some quite clear evidence. The dark, foreboding footage shows a large, ape-like creature walking through the forest. It was captured by a family living on a heavily wooded property. The father, along with his daughter and son, enjoy outdoor adventures and exploring the natural surroundings. However, they've experienced their fair share of strange encounters in the area. They have seen what they believe to be unidentified beings. And tonight was one of those occasions. Check it out. In the shadowy forest, we observe a mysterious dark creature. It's an astonishingly tall, primate-like being that moves in a human-like manner. Despite the low light conditions, it's clear this resembles a Bigfoot. The creature is covered in long, shaggy hair, broad and muscular, yet its gait is quite unusual. It seems to walk with a human-like stride, but not exactly. Perhaps it's an attempt to imitate human movement. I've increased the brightness and exposure to give us a clearer view of the creature. Take a look. As I often mention, many of these Bigfoot videos circulating online are quite controversial. Opinions vary widely. Some believe, others dismiss. In this case, skeptics argue it's just a person in costume. However, how could a costume be this large and detailed? The hair appears to be naturally attached and flush with the body, suggesting a very large individual inside. The creature is estimated to stand about 8 feet tall. To reach such a height, someone would probably need to be on stilts. Yet, the creature moves swiftly and effortlessly through the underbrush, something that would be very challenging on stilts. The family has observed other known creatures in the forest there, which adds to the credibility of this footage. As I often do, I'll leave it to you, the viewers, to make the call. Do you think it's someone in a costume, or could it be the real thing? Share your thoughts in the comments below. On June 25th, 2025, footage of a creature surprisingly resembling a Bigfoot appeared on the network. These shots were taken by a tracking camera in the forest of North America. Let's take a look. I'm sure you will not remain indifferent. A figure with a straight posture moves in the direction of the camera. It looks like a primate. It looks like a modern monkey, but the gait suggests that this is a more intelligent species. A straight posture is not typical of the usual walking of primates. If we exclude the fact that gorillas and other monkeys do not live in North America, then this video may be a genuine Bigfoot find, despite the fact that the video is short and there are a few details in the background. The close-up and surprisingly high resolution make it one of the most impressive in recent times. Stories of giant, hairy humanoid creatures existed in North America long before the first Europeans appeared. The indigenous tribes had their own names. The most famous was Sasquatch, which means forest giant in the Halkumal language. Legends describe creatures under 2.5 meters tall with a powerful physique and a secretive lifestyle. The settlers also reported encounters with wild people in the mountains, and similar descriptions appeared in 19th century newspapers. The legend became known throughout the country after two events: the discovery of huge footprints in 1958 in Bluff Creek and the famous Patterson-Gimlin film of 1967. Since then, Bigfoot has become a symbol of North American folklore, combining ancient legends and modern mysterious observations. Given that sightings and stories of such a creature have persisted for centuries, can all of this really be chalked up to coincidence? Could parts of North America truly be home to Bigfoots or Sasquatches, just as people of the past claimed, and as witnesses continue to insist today? And could the new video I just showed be the latest piece of evidence? When the couple was walking around their neighborhood, they had a strange feeling that someone was watching them. Strange sounds from the bushes, small footprints near the house. In the end, they were right, and they even managed to see what was watching them. You won't like it. Let's see. The most striking thing here is the face. It appears to be humanoid in structure, but is covered with hair, with a distinct forehead, shadowed eye sockets, and something resembling a flattened nose. The coloring of the figure is surprisingly well combined with the surrounding forest. Brown and mossy green shades predominate, which may help explain why creatures like Bigfoot go unnoticed for so long. The head appears to be large and convex, with long matted hair falling down, which is consistent with numerous eyewitness accounts. What is particularly noteworthy is the location of the figure. She doesn't move, doesn't make herself felt, as if she's watching, remaining invisible. The body is crouched or partially hidden, making it difficult to assess the proportions, but it does not look like a bear or any other known forest animal. The image quality may arouse skepticism, especially in the age of artificial intelligence and costumes, but if it's a production, then it's extremely well executed. There are no obvious signs of digital manipulation or seams in the suit. If this is an authentic shot, it could become one of the most fascinating shots showing a creature that has long been suspected to exist: the elusive Bigfoot, watching from behind the trees. On November 24th, 2024, one of the most frightening images of Bigfoot surfaced, accompanied by the caption, "Bigfoot looking through cabin window." Here's the photo. Unfortunately, there isn't much information available about it. The location remains undisclosed, and the person who snapped the picture has not provided many details. However, one thing is certain: it's utterly chilling. Just picture being alone in a secluded cabin in the woods while this creature peers in at you through the window. I'd probably sell my cabin and never return. Take a look at this image. Its right eye glows, while the left one does not. It has a strong, large primate-like face, a broad nose, a prominent brow ridge, and a straight mouth. While some people describe Bigfoot as majestic and captivating, this particular sighting is anything but. I wish there were more details available, perhaps even a video, but regardless, it's one of the most terrifying Bigfoot images out there. In October, what began as a typical Snapchat video transformed into something quite bizarre. In the background, a massive figure catapults itself from a tree. Filmed in the US, this movement is unlike anything seen in North America. Observe the deliberate and calculated way it leaps, landing gracefully, embracing itself. What do we have here? Is this a sighting of Bigfoot, or evidence of a tree-dwelling cryptid? This footage is truly remarkable. This image, captured by a trail camera, presents a figure that at first glance certainly fits the description of a Sasquatch. The subject is positioned amidst a chaotic tangle of fallen branches, creating a sort of natural blind. This positioning suggests a degree of awareness of the surroundings, perhaps even an intentional attempt at concealment. The figure appears to be standing upright, a key characteristic associated with Bigfoot. It seems to have a shaggy, almost fur-like quality, particularly noticeable around the shoulders and head. This texture contrasts with the smoother, more defined branches, strengthening the argument that it's a separate entity. The head appears to be distinct, possibly with a prominent brow ridge, another feature often described in Bigfoot sightings. The overall shape and posture of the figure are humanoid, further fueling the speculation. The lighting in the image is also a factor. The contrast between the bright background and the shadowed foreground creates a stark silhouette, which can enhance the perceived shagginess of the figure. I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments below. One day, a hiker was out on a trek when he came across something utterly unexpected. As an experienced outdoorsman, he had encountered many strange sights in nature, but what he found that day not only shocked him, but left a lasting scar. He captured the unsettling scene on his phone.
Where was that? Jesus.
The gruesome sight was truly unsettling. It appeared to be the corpse of a baby Sasquatch. It looked incredibly lifelike, and the hiker is convinced it's genuine. The face showed signs of slight decomposition, but its features were still discernible. The creature had a large, veiny stomach, with sparse fur in that area, along with slender limbs. The level of detail on this being is astonishing. If it is indeed a crafted replica for a hoax, the workmanship is so intricate that it would be nearly impossible to create. It's unclear whether authorities were contacted to investigate the body and conduct tests, but it's likely they would prefer to keep such information under wraps. I'll make sure to keep everyone updated if any new details emerge. The following clear image is said to have been captured by a trail camera situated in a remote forest. As is typical, the camera owner set it up to monitor local wildlife. However, this encounter was unexpected. The motion and heat sensing trail camera recorded a single image of a creature that is seen walking away from the camera. It has long, black fur covering its entire body. The muscle definition in its arms and legs suggests that it is likely not a costume, as the creature's muscles, including its shoulders and head, are clearly defined, making this photo quite convincing. Additionally, a closer look at its fingers reveals they are significantly wider and longer than those of humans or monkeys, indicating that it is not any known type of ape, monkey, or human. While the exact location of the sighting hasn't been disclosed, we do know the photo was taken in 2023. Overall, it presents a very compelling image of a purported Bigfoot in high definition. In Utah, a man was walking through the woods during the construction of his house in the woods, resting on a tree stump. He got up and noticed a figure in the background, immediately turning on the camera and began recording everything that was happening. Let's take a look. In the background, behind the trees, we see a hairy and dark figure that was looking at the author of the video, but after a few seconds we see a new movement. The Bigfoot is moving through the thicket from left to right. We can see its large size compared to the trees, which corresponds to the rest of the encounters with Bigfoots described on the internet. Utah is often considered a popular place to observe Bigfoot and hold events, both for art enthusiasts, researchers, and curious visitors. The state's vast and diverse landscapes, from the dense forests of the Wasatch Range to the arid expanses of the Great Basin, serve as the perfect backdrop for stories about this elusive creature. One of the factors contributing to Utah's popularity in the Bigfoot community is the rich diversity of natural areas in national parks such as Zion, Bryce Canyon, and the Uinta-Wasatch Cache National Forest. These regions, distinguished by their remoteness and rugged terrain, are believed to be an ideal habitat for Bigfoot, making them ideal places for observation and research. I recently came across the following clip in the vastness of their current. On it, we can see convincing evidence of the existence of Bigfoot. Let's take a look. In the footage, we see a black hairy figure that resembles the shape of a snowman. The creature walks through the undergrowth, exploring the area. The author of the video obviously conveniently hid to capture it. If we look closely, we can see his face, which does not look like a human face. His eyes and nose are distinguishable. Bigfoots in nature usually do not behave aggressively towards people. They tend to avoid meeting people. Aggressive encounters with Bigfoot are usually episodic in nature and are largely based on folklore, urban legends, and reports from people claiming to have had direct experience. In these reports, the Bigfoot is sometimes described as territorial, especially in the areas where it is believed to inhabit. People talk about cases when they felt threatened or attacked, when they accidentally stumbled upon a Bigfoot habitat, or when they unknowingly came too close to a nesting site. So friends, we have received a message that has stirred up the internet, and I can understand why. Let's take a look at this frame taken by a tracking camera that supposedly captured the Bigfoot in its natural habitat. The picture is dark and grainy, a classic Bigfoot shot, right? The subject is positioned in the center, a dark silhouette moving down a rather steep, leaf-strewn slope. The lighting is spotty. Sunlight penetrates through the trees, creating a high-contrast scene. Because of this, it is difficult to distinguish small details, which, frankly, often happens in such meetings. The figure is bipedal, that's clear. She has a humanoid posture, but the proportions seem wrong. The arms seem to be longer than a human's and possibly reach the middle of the thighs, which is often mentioned in descriptions of Bigfoot. The body is dense and the legs seem strong. The head is difficult to identify, but it seems to merge smoothly into the shoulders, which is another common feature reported by eyewitnesses. He walks down the slope almost casually. This may indicate familiarity with the area, something that is inherent in local animals. The lack of visible clothing or equipment supports the theory that it is a wild creature, not a human. Skeptics will immediately point out the lack of clarity. They'll say it's just a blurry image, a trick of the light, or even a bear standing on its hind legs, and they are not entirely right to question this. The image is far from clear. Ultimately, this image, like many others, leaves us with more questions than answers. It's a tantalizing glimpse into the unknown, a potential piece of the puzzle. It's up to you, the audience, to decide what you believe in. But for me, this image adds another layer to the ongoing mystery of Bigfoot. I want to see your opinion in the comments. An ordinary couple from Sun Valley, Idaho, decided to go to the countryside and shoot at targets. As soon as the shot sounded, this happened.
Nice shot. Let's see that again. What? What the hell?
But suddenly, a dark figure briefly appears in the background, partially obscured by the trees. It's distant, but its upright stance and shape immediately raise questions. The figure appears to be bipedal, moving with a slow, deliberate gait. It's tall, broad-shouldered, and covered in what looks like dark fur or heavy clothing. Unlike a bear or other known animal, it doesn't drop to all fours. It maintains a human-like posture throughout. The arms swing slightly, with a length that seems disproportionately long for a human, a feature often reported in alleged Bigfoot sightings. What makes this clip compelling isn't just the shape, but the behavior. The figure doesn't react like a startled animal. It seems aware of its surroundings, possibly even of the person filming. There's a calm, almost purposeful way it moves, as if it knows the terrain well. Of course, we can't rule out the possibility of a hoax or a misidentified human. But when we combine the proportions, the environment, and the natural movement, this footage becomes harder to dismiss. Until more data surfaces, this one remains open. But it's a fascinating piece that keeps the mystery of Bigfoot very much alive. We recently received video footage from the old hog site on the Rosebud Reservation in Todd County, South Dakota. The footage, which was reportedly shot on December 10th, 2023, captures an unusual scene that was observed by 3 people who took a regular Sunday walk.
Okay, I'm recording this person walking through our area. It looks like an older male, but a fluffy older male. That don't look like a human, Mom. It looks like it.
Say that.
It looks like, no, this person looks like he's really furry.
Bigfoot?
Yeah.
That's why I said it looks too big to be a human. Unless it's a big boy.
Shall I honk, see what it does, and see
Yeah.
what they do? We see you! We see you.
Look, it stopped.
It's just standing there looking the other way. Yeah, I see you. I'm recording you just to let your fuzzy ass know.
Look, it just stopped. Yeah.
No, it's still going. It's going towards the bush now. But wherever it went down.
It's still right there at the edge of the bushes. Now it's in the bushes going on.
Moving west of the intersection of Highway 18 and Highway 63, they noticed a subject walking along a clearing on the north side of Highway 18. According to eyewitnesses, the figure seemed to be covered with fur and confidently moved along the bank of the stream. They stayed in their car, watching from afar. The man in the video appears to be completely dressed in black or possibly covered in dark fur, and he does not have any visible objects when walking. Due to the terrain, it would not be visible from the highway itself, unless someone was specifically watching the area. After receiving the report, we sent 2 investigators to the scene. The first of them, Earl, surveyed the area along the ravine, in thickets of bushes and trees. He was unable to detect any fresh footprints or signs of recent activity, probably due to the frozen, hard December soil. However, he found traces of felling of small diameter trees, which, as the owner of the site later confirmed, were produced by someone who harvested wood for fence posts earlier in the summer, and this work was left unfinished. The second researcher, Nick, continued to inspect the area and even expanded the search area to a nearby dam. Unfortunately, he also did not find any definite signs or physical evidence of the presence of the figure shown in the video. Both researchers were alone during their visits, and therefore could not compare the body size with what was noticed initially. Here is a still image from the video. The figure looks completely black and remains unidentified. What do you think about this? Write in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe so as not to miss new videos. In this latest video submission, we're presented with a short yet compelling clip that may capture what many believe to be the elusive Bigfoot. The footage was filmed in a dense woodland area, with a figure briefly visible in the shadows beyond the tree line. While the video is somewhat shaky, as is often the case in spontaneous encounters, the subject appears to be large, dark, and upright, moving in a controlled, deliberate manner. What immediately stands out is the gait and posture. The figure doesn't move like a human out for a hike, nor does it resemble the bounding motion of a bear or large animal. Instead, we see a slow, almost gliding stride that echoes descriptions given by eyewitnesses for decades. The body appears bulky and proportioned in a way that suggests dense muscle mass rather than a man in a suit, while the low resolution and distance limit our ability to make a conclusive judgment. This video adds to a growing catalog of encounters that defy easy explanation. Whether it's a clever fake or something more, it certainly warrants further investigation. The Sasquatch research team, Kirk, Shane, and Dave, examined thermal footage showing a bipedal figure in the woods. Unlike typical thermal images of humans, which clearly display gear like backpacks and clothing, this figure showed none of that. No backpack, no hat, no clothing outlines, just a smooth, uninterrupted heat signature, even when zoomed in 200%. Later footage of hunters, captured by the same camera, clearly showed their gear, highlighting the difference. In another clip, a heat signature briefly peeked out from behind a tree. The team even recreated the initial scene. While they ultimately deemed the footage inconclusive, the absence of visible gear makes this figure stand out from every known human captured on that camera. In this frame-by-frame breakdown, we're examining a particularly intriguing piece of footage captured in a forested region, one that has sparked considerable speculation among cryptid researchers and enthusiasts. The video shows a largely static forest environment, but upon closer inspection, a dark, upright figure can be seen in the distance. The camera appears to focus briefly on this figure, before panning away, then back again. This brief visual engagement is enough to raise the question: are we looking at a genuine sighting of the elusive snowman, or simply an anomaly in the environment? The figure itself appears motionless but clearly distinct from the vertical tree trunks that surround it. Its silhouette is solid and humanoid, with broad shoulders and a head that appears proportionate to what one might expect from descriptions of a snowman or yeti-like creature. The placement in the middle of a dense forest, far from any visible human activity, adds to the plausibility of a non-human subject. The color is uniformly dark, without the reflective qualities of clothing, which could suggest fur or dense body covering. What makes this sighting especially compelling is the contrast between the figure and the surrounding environment. The trees are thin, spaced out, and allow for good visibility at ground level. There are no clear signs of obstruction or camouflage, making the black figure's presence all the more peculiar. It does not resemble a stump, a shadow, or any known forest feature at that distance. Its vertical posture and symmetry lean more toward a biological explanation than a random environmental feature. Skeptics might argue that this is simply a trick of perspective or lighting, a burned tree, a hunter in dark gear, or even an intentional hoax. These possibilities cannot be dismissed outright. However, the remote setting, the natural light conditions, and the absence of any other signs of human presence work together to cast doubt on such explanations. In conclusion, while this footage alone is not definitive proof of a snowman's existence, it is certainly worthy of further analysis. The stillness of the figure, combined with its placement and form, leave us with more questions than answers. As with many alleged cryptid sightings, the mystery lies not in what we can immediately confirm, but in what resists easy explanation. A vlogger filming a casual outdoor video might have unintentionally captured more than he intended. While recording himself talking to the camera in a wooded setting, viewers notice something strange in the trees behind him, partially hidden by branches. A tall, shadowy figure appears to be moving among the trees.
Hey, what's up everybody? This is Weston Yancey with Modern Outdoor Media. We just wrapped up a shoot out here with Just Instinct Creative, shooting the rad power bikes, riding some trails. I want to talk to you guys about a giveaway we're getting ready to launch with our B Alpha shirts. These B Alpha shirts that you've seen on our social media, we're going to do a contest where those who buy one, if you go tag us in your rifle kills this year, we're going to get the best photo nice and cooler. So you're gonna be able to pack your hunting stuff. You're gonna be able to pack your drinks, all that kind of stuff when you're out hunting. You know, so make sure you check out the Be Alpha shirts on our website, modernoutdoormedia.com, and make sure you have it packed with you when you got any right hunting gear.
Behind the man, we can momentarily notice a black, erect figure following a man, which could be scarier than the fact that when shooting a video we don't see what's going on in the background. Pay more attention to such things. A man and his family came to a camping site in the forests of Canada. Having laid out their belongings and settled down, he decided to rent a boat with his friends. When they set sail, one of his friends saw something on the mountain. A tall black figure right on top of the mountain. It can clearly be said that this figure moves on two legs. But how? Is a person capable of overcoming mountainous terrain with such ease? Especially since, according to the author, there are no routes to this mountain, as it is difficult to overcome. We assume that this is a Bigfoot. Bigfoot, according to numerous testimonies, possesses exceptional physical strength and endurance, which allows him to move easily through difficult, mountainous terrain. Thanks to his powerful leg muscles and wide stride, he is able to overcome steep climbs, rocky areas, and scree without apparent effort. His feet, according to eyewitnesses, are much wider than human ones, which gives better grip on the surface and stability on unstable soils. His height, which reaches 2.5 to 3 meters, allows him to easily step over obstacles, and his thick coat protects him from the cold and wind in the highlands. Some researchers suggest that Bigfoot uses hidden trails and is able to move almost silently, avoiding meeting people. These adaptations make it an ideal inhabitant of inaccessible and impassable mountainous areas, which explains why it is so difficult to detect. Colorado is known as a hot spot for Bigfoot sightings, and this footage is believed to originate there. The video is remarkably close up and high definition, providing an exceptionally clear view of a Bigfoot. The creature has dark fur, a primal-looking face, human-like eyes, and is quite tall, partially hidden behind a tree. Viewers are debating whether the footage is genuine or not. One commenter insists, "That's a real Bigfoot. I know because I've seen one face-to-face in the wilderness. I almost died." Another suggests it's computer-generated, while another remarks, "He seems pretty intelligent if you ask me." Someone else adds, "I don't care if this is real or fake. At least it's a clear shot for once." Honestly, they have a point. Usually Bigfoot sightings captured on camera are blurry, distant, or a mix of both. This footage is as good as it gets, whether real or fake. While walking his dogs through the rugged eastern Sierras, Bill was stunned to catch a rare, close-up glimpse of what appeared to be Bigfoot lurking just nearby. An encounter that left him questioning everything he thought he knew about the mysterious creature.
Be careful.
If you focus on the far left side, you'll see it moving quickly behind the trees and through the snow. It hides behind a dense tree, then crouches and parts the branches just as I pan away to film the dogs. At the start, the dog is watching it in the upper left corner of the frame. The figure moves very smoothly, with almost no up and down motion. Initially, I didn't notice any arm movement, but after zooming, I can see the arms do move. One frame shows a side profile with a domed head. Right before Bill pans away, the fast-moving figure stops in the thick trees and seems to stay there, watching Bill and the dogs. Not only does this figure have a dome-shaped head, but its movement is way too smooth for a person. No natural bounce in its stride. Its body shape looks unnatural for a human too. And here's the creepy part. If this was someone in a costume, why would they hide in the dense trees, watching Bill and the dogs? It's like this Bigfoot, if that's what it is, moved quickly in the open, but slowed down to hide and observe once it reached cover. What do you know about Russia? A country of endless winters, bears that supposedly roam the streets, and so many jokes about vodka that they would be enough for the whole of Siberia. But, apart from the platitudes, the legendary Bigfoots also live there. This is a pretty good area for such types of cryptids. In 2011, tourists in Sharagesh accidentally saw a Yeti on top of Zelenaya Mountain. A furry creature was hiding among the trees. A massive, dark, hairy figure, similar to a snowman, sits silently in the snow. The tourist quickly grabs his camera and starts taking pictures. The terrified creature gets up and walks away, disappearing into the dense foliage as if avoiding the lens. A total of 9 pictures were taken. In most of the pictures we see this creature sitting. In some, we can see movement as he rushes into the bushes on his feet. Somewhere he stands sideways to us and we can see the size of this Bigfoot. But one unique picture shows us his face. Despite the fact that the picture is still partially hidden by the branches, it captures his face and most of the towering figure, which finally gives an idea of how massive this figure really was. Comparing it with the surrounding vegetation, some experts estimate its height at about 9 feet. If we take a closer look at the face, we can say that dark hair and eyebrows stand out against the foliage and the mountain landscape. The eyes are difficult to see because of the shadows, but the presence of a living being is felt. The image creates an atmosphere of mystery and suspense, reinforcing the intrigue surrounding the possible existence of Bigfoot in the wild. In Russia, legends about Bigfoots, or Bigfoot people, are known as stories about the Yeti, or the Almasty man. These mysterious creatures supposedly live in the remote forest of Siberia and Altai. Witnesses tell of large, thickly furred creatures that look like humans, but are much larger and stronger. In Russian folklore, Almasty is considered the spirit of mountains and forests, and locals often tell stories about his appearance. Although there is no scientific evidence, interest in Almasty's search remains among cryptozoologists and researchers. So, did tourists really manage to capture Almasty, or even Yeti, on that snowy winter day? The photos certainly match the descriptions conveyed by the legend. These images may be some of the most persuasive evidence of Bigfoot to date. A man named Michael Snow shared these trail camera photos in a Facebook group, explaining that he positioned several trail cameras around Bluff Creek, California, a well-known location for Bigfoot sightings. However, shortly after setting them up, he discovered that the cameras were mysteriously disappearing. He would check the locations where he had installed them, only to find them gone. That was until 2023, when he managed to retrieve one of the missing cameras. After extracting the SD card and connecting it to his computer, he was astonished by what he found. The first image reveals an extraordinarily close-up shot of what appears to be a primate-like creature, with strikingly human-like eyes, rough dark skin, and thick, shaggy hair above its brow. The next photo is peculiar. Although it's difficult to discern the details, it seems to show a part of this creature, possibly an arm or a leg, captured in extreme close-up. The final image features a monkey-like creature, peeking from the lower left corner, displaying some of its hair and a small portion of its face. Skeptics argue that this could just be a monkey, which is a reasonable theory given that California is home to various small monkey species, such as capuchins, howlers, and spider monkeys. The howlers are the largest, yet they don't resemble the creature in the images, as their faces are covered in fur. The face of the creature in the photos looks more like a gorilla, ruling out the possibility of it being any type of monkey, unless, improbably, a gorilla escaped from a California zoo and found its way deep into Bluff Creek's woods. Furthermore, there are distinct features that differentiate it from gorillas, even with the limited view we have. A peaceful bike ride took a sinister turn when a man heard something odd in the depths of the woods. Initially, it was just sounds, branches snapping, something shifting just out of view, but then he caught sight of it. A bipedal figure, towering and cloaked in dark fur, darted between the trees. His heart raced. Was he being observed? Was it following him? Here's another Montana Sasquatch video from World Bigfoot Central. Several viewers have noted a very dark creature with a brownish, caveman-like face observing Duke as he hikes near some large structures. The video is titled, Sasquatch at the Super X, The Watchers in the Woods, as Duke's team previously recorded a grayish Bigfoot, engaging in wood knocking in the same vicinity. The figure in this latest footage has piqued my interest. Upon closer for a clearer view, stopping before further enlargement to avoid pixelation. While I'm not asserting that this is a Bigfoot, watching Duke in an area with a long history of Sasquatch sightings, if it is indeed one, it appears to be a different individual than the grayish one previously filmed. This creature is a very dark brown or black color, with a domed head, no visible neck, and powerful shoulders. Its face, as expected, is lighter in hue, featuring a pronounced brow ridge, deep-set eyes, and a large human-like nose. This Bigfoot resembles one that Les Stroud captured on video in the Romanian mountains, where it was also seen lurking behind trees, showcasing a similarly rugged face in strong brow ridge. I'll play back the video a few times so you can get a closer look. If this is indeed a Bigfoot, it's unsettling how close Duke got to it while it concealed itself behind a tangled mass of deadfall, likely a resting area. In my view, it's an excellent spot for napping or sleeping during the day, offering plenty of cover. For any human, bear, or mountain lion to approach this Sasquatch, they would need to carefully navigate the tangled debris, making it highly improbable for anything to sneak up on it without creating noise that would alert the creature. I hope you find this glimpse of a potential Montana Sasquatch in its secure hiding spot intriguing. The following intriguing video was received from a person who serves in the U.S. Army. This footage is very exciting. Was recorded on a military helicopter camera using a thermal imager. Let's take a look. In the footage, we can see a very large humanoid creature running through a wooded area. Its movements are sweeping and resemble a person, but its size confuses me. Long arms and a long stride. At one point, this creature turns around and looks at the helicopter for a second. Why is it running away? It is obvious that it was scared by the loud sound of the helicopter. It is a pity that the original video does not have a soundtrack. I am interested in what you think about this footage. It is quite intriguing for you. Write your opinion in the comments. This image presents an intriguing case of an alleged Bigfoot sighting. The setting, a remote forested area, fits the typical environment where Bigfoot is rumored to roam. In this image, we see a dark, broad-shouldered figure moving through the brush. At first glance, it exhibits a robust build, with a hunched posture and long arms, traits that are often reported in Sasquatch sightings. However, the figure's leg-to-torso ratio appears closer to that of a human, rather than the unusually long torso described in many eyewitness accounts of Bigfoot. Although this is a still image, the subject's walking posture is noteworthy. Bigfoot is often described as having a smooth, effortless stride with a notable arm swing. Here, the figure appears to have a slightly forward-leaning motion, but it's unclear if the gait truly matches the biomechanics of known Bigfoot footage, such as the famous Patterson-Gimlin film from 1967. One of the biggest red flags and potential hoaxes is the uniformity of fur. Real animals and reported Bigfoot encounters describe a thick, uneven coat with different tones and textures. In this image, the figure's body appears to be covered in a material that lacks natural variation, potentially indicating a costume rather than real fur. While the image certainly captures the eerie essence of a Bigfoot encounter, there are too many unknowns to consider it definitive proof. Could this be a real Bigfoot or hoax? Let me your opinion in the comments below. Alright, this next clip, wow, I honestly don't even know what to make of it. The story sounds completely out there, but when you listen to this guy, there's a certain conviction in his voice that makes you stop and pay attention. Take a listen.
They're always watching, always. I'm going to turn the camera, and as soon as I look at them, they're going to go, but just keep an eye out. Watch. There they go. So I'm not going to go pursue them because their structures are right over there. And as long as they stay on that side of the structures, they're not bothering me. And as long as I stay on this side, I'm not bothering them. We'll get with the gifting rock here pretty soon. Snow started to melt now, so I can get back there. But anyway, yeah, pretty cool.
Let us know what you think.
Now he's either completely out of his mind or so comfortable in his element that he's just rolling with it, like this is just another day for him. He does seem confident though. It's an interesting mix of certainty and hesitation. In the end, it might be nothing since all we really see is a bit of movement, but I'd love to hear what you guys think about this one. This image, allegedly captured by hikers deep in a forested region, is an intriguing addition to the ongoing debate about Bigfoot's existence. At first glance, the photograph appears to depict a dark, humanoid figure, partially obscured by trees, blending into the natural environment. The figure in question has a dark, bulky form, seemingly covered in fur or dense material. Its head appears slightly conical, a feature frequently described in eyewitness accounts of Sasquatch. However, due to the poor resolution and the natural shadows cast by the dense forest, it's difficult to discern any fine details, such as facial features or specific muscle movement. The setting of this alleged sighting fits the typical Bigfoot habitat, deep within a forest, away from human civilization. Dense tree coverage provides ample hiding spots, which aligns with the idea that a large, intelligent primate species could remain elusive. However, the environment also presents the possibility of pareidolia, a psychological phenomenon where the brain perceives familiar patterns, such as faces or figures, in random objects. The interplay of light and foliage may be creating the illusion of a humanoid figure, when, in reality, it could be a combination of shadows, branches, and tree trunks. Unlike the famous Patterson-Gimlin film, where Bigfoot's movement is a key aspect of credibility, this image is static. The figure appears to be sitting or crouching, but due to the lack of additional frames or video footage, we can't analyze gait or movement patterns, which are often distinguishing factors between a real creature and a hoax. One common critique of Bigfoot images is the possibility of a hoax, someone in a suit designed to mimic the legendary cryptid. In this case, the lighting and blur make it difficult to rule out a person wearing dark clothing or a gorilla costume. Unlike some hoax cases, there is no visible zipper, unnatural folds, or fabric texture, which strengthens the case for a more natural formation. What do you think? Could this be one of the most elusive creatures on Earth, or is it just another trick of the light? Let's discuss in the comments below. While fishing by a lake, a man noticed something unusual.
Oh, there it is. I see it. Yeah, it's on my side of the bank now. I'll see it. I'm gonna zoom in as close as I can. There it is. It's like it's still in the water up to its waist. It knows I'm up here. I think it wants to come up here, but it's not going to while I'm here. So there you have it, guys. Isn't this river beautiful?
In the distance, a large, dark figure stood, seemingly searching for food along the riverbank. Could this be Bigfoot? Or is it just a regular animal? While hunting in Michigan, a man with his 2 dogs was walking in search of a good place in the Huron National Forest, when suddenly he heard strange sounds. He decided to record them. Let's listen.
Sound like squash, don't it? What do you guys think that is? call. Call back.
After long wanderings around the park, he found a special place equipped with a cabin for hunting. Once there, the sounds suddenly increased. I suggest you also listen to them.
You guys hear that shit? It's fucking crazy sounding. Up it up, get up my shit, do some hunting, and some great stuff, predators or shit.
Perhaps this hunter is the luckiest person, because he did not have a chance to meet this Bigfoot. While hiking in West Virginia's New River Gorge, Oman stumbled upon a massive rock formation that resembled more of a man-made structure than a natural mountain. From afar, it blended seamlessly with the surroundings, but up close, its shape and patterns appeared unusually symmetrical. One section even looked like a giant doorway carved into the stone. Adding to the mystery were enormous, deep footprints found along the surface. Some say it's simply the result of natural erosion and coincidence, but others wonder, could something huge have once lived here? While walking around his property, a man filmed it. If we stop, we'll see in this intriguing shot, taken deep in a remote forest area, what appears to be a dark vertical figure outlined in red, a potential image of the legendary Bigfoot. At first glance, it seems that the object is located between trees, partially hidden by natural elements, but still distinct enough to deserve a closer look. Dense forest, sparse undergrowth, and distant mountains create a classic setting, often associated with supposed Bigfoot encounters. Isolated, quiet, and wild. If you pay attention to the figure itself, then its proportions and posture attract attention. She appears to be standing upright on two legs, slightly leaning forward, which corresponds to the movement described in many eyewitness accounts of the Bigfoot. The torso seems bulky, and the contrast between the dark upper part and the lighter lower half is noticeable, which suggests natural shading, a gradient of fur, or even clothing. The question arises whether this could be a prank involving a disguised person. Nevertheless, its size in relation to the surrounding trees hints that it is above the average human height, which gives some weight to the possibility of its authenticity. However, the image quality is quite poor. Pixelation, motion blur, and distance contribute to the ambiguity. This makes it difficult to determine the texture of the figure's surface, whether it is covered with hair, fabric, or something else. However, the environment, the lack of obvious human presence, and the absolute remoteness of the place further enhance the mystery. If this is fiction, then it would take considerable effort to stage such a scene in such a wilderness. This next clip raises an interesting question for photographers. The person behind the camera, who chose to stay anonymous, was inspecting an old structure deep in the North Carolina wilderness, trying to see if any materials could be salvaged. During the process, someone accompanying the original poster noticed a grayish-brown figure peeking through a gap in the trees. Some believe that the presence of these two disturbed a Bigfoot, causing it to reveal itself. Others argue that it might simply be a colored tree stump. The angle through the small opening in the wood makes it hard to tell for sure. The image was sent to the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization, but they couldn't confirm either way. Despite the uncertainty, the original poster decided to share this intriguing photo with everyone. What do you think? Is this a genuine Bigfoot sighting, or just a trick of nature with a tree stump? Here's a well-known Bigfoot video reportedly captured by a farmer in Georgia. Details about why he was deep in the woods that day are scarce, but he was quite far from civilization when he spotted the creature and grabbed his camera to film. A Sasquatch-like figure appears. At first, it's crouched. Then it slowly stands up, revealing its impressive height. It locks eyes with the farmer, likely trying to intimidate him, before turning away and disappearing back into the forest. The creature looks enormous and has the classic Bigfoot appearance. It doesn't seem like a person in a costume. Its movements, posture, and size feel very authentic, suggesting something unusual is going on. Georgia is known as a Bigfoot hotspot due to its vast, rugged wilderness, remote areas where such sightings are more common, which makes sense given the dense forests and caves, perfect for hiding. If you live in rural areas, have you ever experienced anything strange outdoors? What's the creepiest thing you've seen in nature? Share your stories below. I'll be reading. At first glance, this is an ordinary forest walk. The camera is shaking a little. Footsteps, wind, and crackling snow can be heard. But after a few seconds, the cameraman's gaze freezes abruptly. A dark figure appears on the horizon, among the trees. She stands almost motionless, swaying slightly, as if watching. It is from this moment that the video begins to raise a lot of questions.
Okay, I've got a better angle, I think. You see that thing moving? Something's moving. Something is moving. Freak! You gotta be kidding me. Okay. That's some footage, but that's all I got.
If you look closely, the figure looks large. The height clearly exceeds the average human. The movements are sluggish but heavy, as if the creature has considerable mass. The object is covered with something dark, possibly fur. The outlines are not clear due to the distance, but you can see the broad shoulders and long arms that are typical of descriptions of Bigfoot, coming from different regions of the world. The soundtrack is also of interest. In the intervals between steps, a muffled hooting or a low guttural sound can be heard. It doesn't sound like a human voice, and it's unlikely to be an animal like a bear. The timbre is different, deeper, and more resonant. The sound seems to come from the depths of the forest and is accompanied by a faint echo. This may be an attempt at communication, a territorial signal, or even a decoy. At some point, the creature takes a couple of steps toward the trees and disappears behind the trunks. The camera loses focus, but the cameraman is clearly hesitant to approach. This decision is fully justified. If it really is a Yeti, a close encounter could be dangerous. If it's a man in a suit, then he shows no signs that this is a production. There is no fuss, no noise, no reaction to the shooting. The recording leaves behind more questions than answers. Not a single frame provides absolute confirmation of authenticity, but it is difficult to reject everything as a fake. While hiking along a quiet forest trail in the crisp days of fall, a man records his walk, surrounded by fallen leaves and the bare branches of trees preparing for winter. Sunlight streams through the canopy, casting elongated shadows across the forest floor. As he slowly pans his camera across the landscape, he unintentionally captures something unusual. Behind one of the trees, partially hidden by the branches, stands a tall, dark figure. It appears upright, humanoid in shape, with broad shoulders and disproportionately long arms that seem to hang well below the waist, perhaps even past the knees. The figure's posture is tense yet still, as though it's consciously trying not to be seen. Its head is slightly tilted, almost as if observing the man as he walks by. At the time, the hiker continues on without noticing anything out of place, but later, while reviewing the footage, a single frame catches his attention, a moment many believe might show a Bigfoot or Sasquatch silently blending into the forest shadows. Here's some astonishing and recent Bigfoot evidence. A man has 2 game trails in the woods behind his house, one on each side. Usually, he observes deer and other small animals passing through these trails, often noticing their footprints and mentally recording them. However, on a snowy day in January, while walking along these trails, he discovered unusual footprints, large, human-like tracks unlike the typical wildlife he usually sees.
The trackway that's going, there's a game trail over here, goes right by my house, by my kitchen and my dining room. So those are the footprints. There is the footprints right there. There's my glove next to one of the footprints.
So that's pretty big, huh?
Yeah, those are big Carhartt gloves, and then that's the trackway.
They're in line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Dr. Jeff Meldrum said. and then I measured it.
He is one cool guy, man.
Yeah, he is
I like
super
that.
cool.
He's a mellow dude.
I measured it, but I went from
Well,
toe
yeah,
to toe. Toe to toe is 44 inches. Well, here's right here, maybe 42 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Toe to toe. That's what I did in this one over here. This one over here. Toe to toe, and it was yeah, like 42 inches toe to toe.
Dang, that's pretty big.
Yeah, and that's the trackway right there.
That's cool shot.
He displays the prints believed to be approximately 16 inches in length. Additionally, he measures the strides, indicating that the toe-to-toe distance is about 44 inches, suggesting a notably long stride. In conjunction with these footprints, he mentions hearing unusual wood knocks and loud footsteps. Listen as he describes the strange activities he's been encountering.
This was January 13th of 2022. And then I've had wood knocks since, and I've had, what else? I've heard footsteps in the back of my property,
Yeah.
where I've heard the snow crunching.
Yeah.
And like I was telling
Some of
Sybil,
those are the creepiest. Man.
yeah, I could hear the footsteps and the crunching of the snow, but I could feel the impact.
Yeah.
Not in the ground, but it was, I don't know how to explain it.
No, it was like a concussive feeling
Yeah.
in the chest.
It was
I know
like
exactly what you mean.
it was, I couldn't feel it on the ground, but I could feel it through the air or something.
You know what
weird.
what it felt like to me was like a presence, like a real presence.
He reflects on his very first supposed encounter with Bigfoot amid these circumstances. As we can gather, he resides in a highly rural and isolated area. He recalls being outside late at night during the dead of winter, a cold and snowy evening. He notes that it was particularly dark that night, with no moonlight illuminating the surroundings. While outside with his dogs, he scanned his environment and noticed a pair of enormous eyes at the back of his property. He shined his flashlight toward them, and the creature remained standing still, frozen in place, staring back at him, partially hidden behind some foliage. Only its face and eyes were visible. He describes the creature as remaining motionless and fixated on him for about 5 to 10 minutes. Eventually, he and his dogs decided to go back inside, and when they returned later, the creature was gone. It seems that in this area, Bigfoot might roam freely, remote enough for them to live undetected by most humans, except for this particular individual. Let's review a recent game camera image that might have captured Bigfoot. The photo is quite clear, providing us with impressive close-up evidence. However, some skeptics dismiss it, arguing that it appears to be either AI generated or edited, claiming it's too perfect to be authentic. On the other hand, believers defend the image, criticizing skeptics for never being satisfied with any evidence. They point out that skeptics often complain that Bigfoot footage is blurry or shaky, suggesting a bias against clear sightings. However, whenever new clear evidence emerges, it is often quickly dismissed as AI generated or edited. Once again, we find ourselves with a highly controversial piece of footage. The first thing that catches the eye is the creature's muscular build, completely ripped, with prominent shoulder muscles, thick biceps, and what appears to be a large chest. Unlike most Bigfoot sightings, which describe a hairy creature from head to toe, this one seems to have a mostly hairless upper body. Its legs are covered in long hair, and even its face has a notable amount of hair. Additionally, examine the claws. This creature has human-like hands with fingers ending in razor-sharp claws. When zoomed in on the face, it appears dark with a prominent nose and a mouth resembling that of a human. If this entity is real, it's certainly one you wouldn't want to encounter, as it looks virtually impervious. Boys Bigfoot on Instagram comments, quote, "This picture has been circulating on social media. A game camera apparently captured a Bigfoot-like creature. What are your thoughts? Real or fake?" End quote. Honestly, I share the same curiosity and would love to hear your opinions in the comments section. In this intriguing trail cam capture, we're presented with a rear-angle image of what many claim to be a Bigfoot, a large bipedal, ape-like creature making its way up a forested slope. The figure appears large and muscular, with dark fur covering most of its body. Notably, the fur is not uniform. There are areas, particularly around the thighs and rump, where the hair is patchy or missing. This could suggest mange, seasonal shedding, or even age-related fur loss, a trait more commonly observed in known mammals, particularly bears. However, what stands out is the creature's posture. It's walking on all fours, but the limb structure and length, especially of the back legs, give it an oddly humanoid proportion. The spine is relatively flat, not arched like that of most quadrupeds, and the leg extension looks longer than what you'd expect from a typical black bear. One theory is that this is a black bear with severe mange or deformity, possibly caught in a rare moment of movement that makes it appear more human-like. However, believers argue that the arm-to-leg ratio and the smooth stride up the incline seem unnatural for a bear. The gluteal area, in particular, shows significant definition, almost as if the musculature is human-like, which has led some to suggest that this could be a genuine Bigfoot or large primate not yet classified by science. Of course, skeptics will point to the angle and the motion blur, both of which can easily distort perception and make a known animal look unfamiliar. Still, it's hard to ignore how eerily humanoid this figure appears, especially given the symmetry in the apparent gait. In the end, this frame remains inconclusive, a powerful example of how one single image can straddle the line between hoax, misidentification, and potential evidence of the unknown. What do you think? Is this a mangy bear, a person in a suit, or did a trail cam just accidentally capture something that's not supposed to exist? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. This creekside footage captures what looks like a Bigfoot. According to the uploader, they were fishing on the opposite side of the water when this figure suddenly emerged from the woods. You guys can see what I see. Tall, covered in hair, definitely has that Bigfoot-like appearance. One thing that really stands out to me is how indifferent it seems to its surroundings. Typically, Bigfoots are known for being hyper-aware and elusive. It's part of how they've remained hidden for so long. But this one? It almost looks like it's foraging along the shoreline rather than fishing. Of course, I had to check out the comments, and one person claimed they could see it wearing high tops. I didn't catch that, but if you pause the clip, take a close look and let me know. Do you see them? What do you think? Another hoax? A misidentified bear? Or the real deal? Drop your thoughts in the comments. While hiking through Provo Canyon in Utah, two friends suddenly spotted a figure in the distance.
Too close to it, huh? How cool though. Let's go. Too close to it, huh? How cool though.
At first, they assumed it was a black bear, but that changed when the creature rose to its feet. It quickly became clear that this wasn't a bear at all, but a tall, humanoid figure cloaked in dark fur. The situation grew tense as the mysterious being seemed to notice them. Feeling threatened, the hikers didn't wait around. They turned and ran. While out enjoying a day of skiing, this man suddenly noticed something out of the ordinary.
You better watch out, you better not die, you better not crash, I'm telling you why, 'cause you told your wife you're at work.
A tall, dark figure was peeking out from behind a tree. Its towering height and shadowy outline bore an eerie resemblance to the classic depiction of Bigfoot. Unfortunately, the footage cuts off abruptly, leaving whatever happened next shrouded in mystery. This video was recorded in the western woods of Kuchi, Slovakia, where a hiker embarked on a 2-day journey through the vast forest. During his hike, he began to feel as though something, or someone, was watching him. As he continued, he filmed his experience and eventually stumbled upon a strange hut made of large branches. Intrigued, he approached it while filming, and that's when this happened. A deep, growling noise echoed from outside. Terrified, he fled, but as he walked further, he heard rustling sounds. Pointing his camera in the direction of the noise, he was horrified to see a tall figure shaking the trees. Its enormous size became clear when compared to the surrounding trees. Fear-stricken, the hiker ran away, swearing never to return to those woods. A man stands at the edge of a peaceful stream, recording himself as he fishes. Unbeknownst to him, a dark figure silently emerges from the tree line in the background. The mysterious creature lingers for just a moment before slipping back into the forest. Completely unaware, the man continues filming, having unknowingly captured something truly extraordinary. While Bigfoot is believed to exist in various forms and sizes, this particular image is unlike any others previously seen. Taken in Georgia in 2013, this Bigfoot photo has not been widely circulated. It shows a motion-blurred creature resembling Sasquatch, with gray muscular skin and clearly defined shoulder blades, back muscles, broad shoulders, flexing triceps, and large quads. The motion blur indicates that the creature was moving quickly, likely trying to avoid being seen by humans, but it was too late. This being is also distinct from the typical Bigfoot, due to its grayish color and sparse body hair. Some speculate that it may not be Bigfoot at all, but possibly another cryptid, such as a dogman. Dogmen are said to share a similar muscular build to Bigfoot, though they are slightly smaller and have canine-like heads instead of primate features. While the photo is intriguing, it remains controversial due to the lack of concrete details. Whether it is genuine evidence or just another hoax remains unclear, keeping the truth a mystery for now. On January 13, 2020, in Ontario, Canada, a typical winter day took a chilling turn for a group of forest workers. While on the job, they suddenly heard an eerie sound echoing through the trees. The three men felt a growing sense of unease, sensing something was off. One of them recorded the unsettling sound on his phone and later shared the video online. What could be causing these strange noises? Are they the calls of an animal, or could it be something much more terrifying? Let's take a look at what's said to be a clear photograph of Bigfoot, reportedly taken in Alberta, Canada, back in 2012. While the image has been around for some time, it's remained pretty exclusive. Very few people have actually seen it, so I thought it was worth sharing with you all now. Even though we know when and where the photo was taken, the backstory is still a mystery. We don't know who captured it, whether it was taken by a hiker who stumbled upon the creature, or if a trail camera snapped it. That part remains unclear. But the photo itself is compelling enough to draw serious attention. It shows a large, dark, ape-like figure sitting in a clearing, turned away from the camera. Unfortunately, we don't get a view of its face or the front of its body. One detail that experts often highlight is its arm, the one it appears to be leaning on. The muscular definition is striking. You can see the shoulder muscle clearly, with a flexed tricep and a massive forearm, giving it an unusually powerful look. When analyzing alleged cryptid photos, one of the key things researchers look for is how the fur interacts with the body. Does it lie flush against the muscle? Does it look naturally integrated? In this case, it does. The fur appears tight against the creature's body, showing off its structure and musculature. This is in stark contrast to how a costume typically looks: loose, saggy, or bulky in all the wrong places. Here, there's no clear sign of it being a suit or fake. And as many of you know, I talk about Canada a lot on this channel because the region, especially Alberta, is a hotbed for Bigfoot sightings. Canada has a deep and fascinating Bigfoot history, with roots stretching far back into First Nations folklore. The creature, often referred to as sasquatch, has been a part of Indigenous oral tradition for centuries, especially among the tribes of British Columbia. Modern encounters began making headlines in the early 1900s, with Western Canada, particularly the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest, emerging as a key hotspot. Over the decades, countless reports have described a large, hairy, bipedal humanoid roaming the vast wilderness. Sightings continue to this day, particularly in provinces like British Columbia, Alberta, and Ontario, keeping the legend of the Canadian Sasquatch very much alive. While driving to his next destination, a man noticed something unusual along the way.
Hey, yo, what the fuck is that? No mames. That shit's going off fast. That's not a person at all, bro. That shit disappeared. Wait, what the fuck? Nah, what the fuck is that? That's fucking scary, dog.
In the distance, he saw a small figure running at an incredible speed. The figure had a human-like shape, but it moved far too quickly to be a person. The man immediately uploaded the video online, hoping someone could provide an explanation. While boating, a family spotted an unusual figure along the shore.
On the shore.
What's that? What's that right there?
They zoomed in for a closer look and saw a dark shape emerging from the dense jungle. Knowing they might not be believed without evidence, they quickly grabbed their camera to capture the moment. In August 2019, Doug Teague, a resident of Hickory, North Carolina, filmed what he believes to be Bigfoot while walking his dog. After hearing loud knocking sounds in the distance, he decided to investigate. Doug soon came across large footprints and followed them until he encountered a strange creature.
He's still up here. Or something's up here. He's moving. He's moving, he's moving, he's moving. Daisy, come here. Daisy, come here.
He claimed that as he approached, the creature started throwing stones at him. Later, an anthropologist examined the footprints and estimated they belonged to a creature about 15 feet tall. Experts agreed that the prints seemed to be genuine. This is one of the wildest pieces of Bigfoot evidence. A father and son were biking through the backcountry, something they did regularly. However, that day, the trails were especially muddy due to heavy recent rain, making their ride more difficult than usual. Despite that, they decided to head out anyway. The mud was so deep and thick that the bike could stand upright on its own.
Yeah, the mud's so thick here, my bike's just standing up by itself.
Oh, yeah?
Not yours, is it? Well, so we just came out onto a right-of-way. Looks like there's another path up to the right, too. Well, let's explore.
Keep going.
Adventure!
They cross the massive mud puddle and keep going on their journey until they come across another muddy area. That's when the son catches sight of a huge footprint as they ride by. He gets closer and shows us the print.
Alright, so me and Joe are coming out this old road, and we have to cross this giant little mud bog. So he crosses, and I'm just about to cross, and he says, "Hey, I thought I saw some kind of footprint." So we started looking, and check this out, guys. This is freaking crazy. Look at this. Do you not see this? There's my hand. Look at the size of that footprint.
The footprint is incredibly clear and deep. You can see the heel pressed firmly into the mud, along with every individual toe print. It's a massive, human-like footprint. Who in their right mind would be running barefoot through mud out here? And who else has feet this huge besides someone like Shaquille O'Neal? This footprint is truly unusually large. It matches descriptions commonly reported in Bigfoot sightings. Even the father and son in the video agree. It looks like a Bigfoot track, with no other reasonable explanation. Such footprints have been discovered and cast for decades. However, the earliest physical evidence that gained public attention was in 1958, when a construction crew in Bluff Creek, California, found large, mysterious footprints in the mud. These footprints, measuring up to 16 inches long, were documented and cast, sparking media coverage and popular interest. This event helped launch Bigfoot into mainstream awareness. Now we will move to the Appalachian region, a mysterious place with frequent mentions of Bigfoot sightings. A total of 100 cases have been recorded there, and there have been many over the past 10 years. For example, in June 2025, in Bath County, Kentucky, a hunter reported meeting Bigfoot at dusk. And in September 2024 in Macon County, North Carolina, 2 witnesses observed Bigfoot during the day. Today's story was created thanks to a father and daughter living in those parts. When they were driving through their forest area, the daughter noticed a man in the distance. Knowing that the land belongs to him and that no one should be there, the father takes out his phone, starts recording, and enlarges the image to get a better look.
Yeah. Huh?
What's over there?
Where?
It's right there.
There's somebody over there. They ain't supposed to be in our woods. Who is that?
I don't know.
Do you see him?
Yeah. He's walking.
What is that?
No.
Man, we gotta... All right, hey, let's go up here and we'll turn around, all right?
It appears to be a human-like figure, covered entirely in thick fur. It has a slightly stooped posture, and the classic dome-shaped head, typical of Bigfoot sightings. He managed to capture a fairly clear video before the creature quickly walked away and disappeared into the underbrush. At that point, he turned his truck around and hurriedly left the forest. He wasn't sure if it was really a Bigfoot, someone playing a prank, or some unknown predator, but his main concern was his daughter's safety. The only proof of this encounter is the video, which is now causing a stir across online communities. One of the most popular and well-documented cases of Bigfoot sightings in the Appalachian region is its sighting in 1977 near the town of Jenkins, Kentucky. The incident involved a local hunter named Jim Johnson, who reported a close encounter with a large hairy creature while tracking deer through the dense forests of the Appalachian Mountains. Johnson described the creature as over 7 feet tall, covered in dark brown hair, with a broad, muscular build and a distinctive, domed head. Classic Bigfoot features. According to him, the creature made a series of loud, guttural howls that echoed through the forest, scaring him and making him freeze in place. He managed to observe the figure for several minutes before it disappeared into the dense undergrowth. Afterwards, large footprints were found nearby, supporting the family's story. Locals increasingly reported sightings, strange sounds, and unusual lights, fueling theories linking Bigfoot and UFOs, common in the area. All this adds weight to the video, which could be important new evidence. A brand new Bigfoot encounter just dropped on July 4th, 2025, and it's already sparking serious curiosity. The uploader, Sonny Vader, shared this chilling account, stating, "A crew member spends time alone at a remote wilderness camp in the Canadian Rockies. He was investigating strange occurrences that led a local native band to abandon the area, a site once used for end-of-life spiritual rites." According to the story, one of Sonny Vader's investigative team members ventured out to explore the location firsthand. He camped there for 4 days and nights, documenting the area and setting up surveillance equipment. Much of what they captured was fascinating, eerie but calm, that is, until the final night. Around 12:30 a.m., everything changed. The silence of the wilderness was shattered by deep guttural growls echoing through the darkness. Sounds unlike anything you'd expect from known wildlife. They didn't match the typical calls of bears, which are common in Canada. These were something else. Primal, almost ape-like in nature. On top of that, clear wood knocks were heard, a phenomenon often reported in Bigfoot encounters. The sounds were enough to terrify the lone investigator, who quickly realized he may not have been alone in those woods. Feeling shaken but armed with enough compelling evidence, he decided to pack up and leave the site immediately. As many of you know, Canada ranks among the top countries for Bigfoot sightings. While the U.S. has plenty of reports, Canada holds its own with a long history of unexplained encounters, particularly in its vast, untouched wilderness. So, the question is, did this investigator capture yet another Canadian Bigfoot on record? Could this be one more puzzle piece in the growing archive of cryptid encounters? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This one feels too real to ignore. Typically, when people think of Bigfoot, they associate it with America because most sightings occur in the country's forests. However, many other nations around the world also report sightings of similar creatures. Almost every country has its own version of the Sasquatch. For instance, Australia has the Yahi, and China has the Yaren, or the Wild Man. Today, though, we'll explore some rare footage from Poland, captured by a man who was hiking through rugged terrain. In the afternoon of 2009, he was exploring an area that appeared largely uncharted. The landscape was rocky and mountainous, with dense forest nearby. It was in a clearing, within this terrain, that he encountered the creature.
Co tam jest? Widzisz? Zobacz, tam na lewo od kozicy to jest. O kurde. Pokaż to na to. O kurde, masz to? Z tej strony masz to? Gdzie to jest? O, tutaj. O kurde, co to jest? Niedźwiedź? Nie. Nie no, niedźwiedź tak nie chodzi. Co to jest? Do kozicy? Co to jest?
A dark, upright creature is depicted, slightly bent forward as it moves across rugged terrain. Its arms appear extremely long, especially in this frozen moment. It features broad shoulders and thick, robust legs. Although Poland isn't commonly linked to Bigfoot in the way North America is, there are folkloric and contemporary reports of large, hairy, humanoid beings in the region, often connected to local myths or cryptid lore. In Polish folklore, there's the ancient figure of the Leśniud, meaning forest people. These are wild, hairy beings believed to reside in deep forests such as the Białowieża forest. Legends portray them as large, human-shaped, hairy beings who tend to avoid human contact but occasionally steal livestock or scare travelers. Modern reports of Bigfoot-like creatures in Poland are infrequent but not unheard of. Recently, several hikers and locals in the Carpathian region have reported sightings of tall, hairy, upright figures deep within the forests. These descriptions align with the typical archetype of Bigfoot, standing between 2 to 2.5 meters, 6 to 8 feet, tall, broad-shouldered, and elusive. It appears that such Bigfoot sightings are not limited to North America, but are occurring worldwide. Could these recent encounters be new sightings of the Sasquatch-like creature believed to inhabit Poland, a sighting that might finally confirm its existence to the world? This video is taken from the popular Dee's Dark Adventures channel. The girl is hiking and exploring various crypts. During one of these outings, she managed to capture something. This is an excerpt from the full video. Let's take a look.
Bridget. The bridge? Yeah, okay. Hold on a minute. My REM pod's going on. You can hear it.
A girl walks and explores the surroundings of Ohio, hearing a rustle in the bushes. She decided to go through and check what it was. walking a little forward. A massive black figure in the shadow seemed to float out of the corner. At first glance, it is easy not to notice, but as soon as the eyes get used, the figure becomes distinct. Tall, broad shoulders, and indistinct but human-like outlines. The mystery is added by the lack of visible features usually inherent in ordinary animals. No sparkle in the eyes, no texture of the fur, just a solid, dark mass that seems to absorb light rather than reflect it. The position of the figure also suggests that it is intentionally stationary, blending into the background, and not accidentally caught the eye. Although this shot by itself does not prove anything definitively, it is convincing. If this is a hoax, then it's impressively subtle. If not, then we may be seeing another rare glimpse of the unknown. Christian was recording a calm afternoon in the university's nature preserve when something unexpected appeared in the footage. While reviewing it later, he spotted a tall, upright figure moving through the trees, covered in dark fur. It looked too human to be an animal, yet too unusual to be a person. It didn't move like a deer or bear, whatever it was. It seemed different. The clip quickly went viral around campus, sparking debates. Even a biology professor remarked that if Bigfoot were real, this preserve would be the perfect hiding spot. What Christian captured remains unexplained. Hopefully it wasn't just an elaborate prank. On May 26, 2025, a man shared a photo on X, claiming it was shown to him by his tour guide. In the image, one person is walking toward the camera while another snaps a photo with flash, unintentionally catching something unsettling. Behind them, a pair of glowing eyes and a large humanoid figure appear to be staring directly at the lens. What do you think? Pareidolia, or Bigfoot? While exploring a forested area in central Tennessee in search of a cave, a Reddit user came across some unusual impressions in the mud. The tracks were small, resembling those of a child, but the toes were deeply embedded, as if whatever made them was gripping the ground while walking. Many observers felt the prints looked too human-like to be from a typical animal. Though the discovery didn't offer any concrete proof, it stirred curiosity, with some even speculating they might belong to a juvenile Bigfoot. We're looking at one of the most visually compelling stills to emerge in recent years, depicting what appears to be a large, upright, humanoid figure standing in a rocky riverbed deep within a mountainous forest region. The lighting, the pose, and the overall composition of the shot raise immediate questions. Is this an authentic capture of the elusive Bigfoot, or are we looking at a carefully crafted hoax? The figure in the frame is positioned at the center of a shallow stream, surrounded by natural formations, jagged rocks, flowing water, and steep cliffs in the background. What immediately stands out is the sheer presence of the subject. The figure stands tall, motionless, and fully upright, with broad shoulders, long arms, and a domed head. The body appears to be covered in dark brown or black hair from head to toe, with no visible clothing or artificial gear. The lighting naturally highlights the contours of the body, particularly the upper arms and shoulders, where muscle definition is subtly suggested beneath the hair covering. There's also a striking stillness and realism to this frame. Unlike blurry or pixelated blink and you'll miss it sightings, this capture offers clear visibility of the figure's profile. The arms hang low, nearly to the knees, and the posture is slightly slouched, a detail often reported in eyewitness accounts, but rarely caught on film. The environment itself is remote and wild, the kind of terrain where a creature of this nature could conceivably go undetected for generations. In conclusion, this image represents one of the most convincing visuals we've seen in recent times. While no single frame can definitively prove the existence of Bigfoot, this one certainly adds weight to the growing archive of unexplained evidence. A brand new, potentially groundbreaking Bigfoot video dropped on March 5th, 2025. This time from none other than the Discovery Channel, a source known for its credibility. They shared the clip with a provocative caption. Is this the proof we've been waiting for, or just the beginning of something bigger? Here's what they captured.
Right there. Are you seeing that? Holy right there, just zoom in, right there. Are you seeing that?
I saw something. What the I just saw it again.
Holy smokes.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Look at that.
Okay.
Now that doesn't look like a bear, does it?
No, it's crazy good.
That was upright.
Watch it again.
Yeah, it's walking.
The footage comes from the team behind Expedition Bigfoot, who are no strangers to trekking through wild terrain in search of the elusive creature. Most of the time, their findings are interesting, but inconclusive. This time, though, things felt different. While scanning a tree-covered mountainside with a long-range camera, the crew spotted something unusual. As they zoomed in, the camera briefly captured what appeared to be the head and shoulders of a massive bipedal creature, undeniably Bigfoot-like. The figure was visible for only a moment before it disappeared back into the forest. According to the crew, it was clearly not a bear. Its upright posture and movements were far too human-like, though still distinctly otherworldly. They carefully reviewed the footage and pointed out one key detail: the creature's arm swing. This exaggerated motion is a known trait in reported Bigfoot sightings, often used to help propel their massive bodies forward. It's a movement famously captured in the legendary Patterson-Gimlin film. While humans swing their arms too, the motion in this video appears far more pronounced. Just like the classic descriptions of Sasquatch behavior. The figure itself is dark, hairy, and incredibly broad, with powerful-looking shoulders. Based on the video, the crew believes they may have captured some of the clearest and most compelling Bigfoot evidence yet. But what do you think? Could this new footage finally be the visual proof people have been waiting for? After all, it did come from Discovery Channel, which adds some weight to its credibility. Let me know your thoughts. Are we seeing a myth come to life, or is there more to uncover? A forest ranger in Canada recently captured footage of what many believe to be Bigfoot, spotted returning from a hunt. The large, hairy figure was seen walking through the woods, holding something small, possibly a bird, chicken, or turkey. What stood out was its distinctly human-like gait and its apparent obliviousness to being filmed. The footage suggests that the creature was hunting smaller animals, lending weight to the theory that Bigfoot may be a meat-eater. Though the ranger hasn't encountered it again, he remains vigilant, hoping for another sighting someday.
Right there. Right fucking there. You see that right there?
This encounter was shared by a channel called Bigfoot King, and it follows a hiker venturing deep into the forest. Right from the start, you can feel his unease, like he's expecting something to be watching him from within the dense trees.
Okay. Where are you? Straight up front. Straight up front. Fucking there. You see that right there?
Then, out in the distance, a massive black figure appears. It's covered in thick, dark fur and has an unmistakably humanoid shape. At first, the hiker thinks it might just be an oddly shaped tree trunk, but that illusion vanishes the moment the creature moves. You can even hear a branch snap as the camera begins to shake. Panic sets in immediately.
You see that right there? Out. Right. Right. Hang on. Hang on.
Clearly rattled, the hiker fumbles to reposition himself, probably wishing he'd brought a better camera to capture what he's seeing. Even with his basic gear, he manages to catch another glimpse of it, its dark fur barely visible through the trees as it tries to conceal its massive frame. The tension is palpable. As a viewer, you can practically feel his heart pounding. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely got my attention. In June 2022, a chilling video surfaced from Russia depicting a stranded motorist who claimed he was being stalked by what he believed to be Bigfoot while stuck by the roadside at night. Uploaded to YouTube by Traversa, the footage shows the driver using a night vision camera, capturing eerie glowing eyes peering at him from the snow-covered forest. The mysterious figure appeared to shadow and intimidate him as he moved through the snowy landscape. The Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization shared the video, suggesting it might offer real evidence of the legendary creature. Others speculated the entity could be a Yeti, Bigfoot, or even a malevolent spirit. Skeptics, however, argued it was more likely a person wearing glasses and crawling on the ground. This bizarre encounter in Russia's remote wilderness only intensified the ongoing debate surrounding Bigfoot and similar cryptid creatures. We captured this footage last September during a 6-day canoe trip with friends on Lake Ashigan, Minnesota. One afternoon, a couple of friends left our campsite to explore a nearby trail and take some scenic photos. While out there, they suddenly heard strange noises coming from the bushes nearby and immediately started recording.
Did he catch anything earlier? No, he didn't. He got some hits, man. He's been trolling out there. Should we get... What? What? Oh! Did you hear that? Dude, that's like knock. That's knock. Something's knocking, dude. That's not a woodpecker. What is that? Do you have your camera? I can't see anything. I can't see it.
Look at the tree.
Whoa, oh, whoa.
Be careful, dude.
Dude, is that a bear? Diz, is that a bear? Get your camera. Come here. I can't see it. Can you see it?
No.
I don't see anything.
Oh, look at the size of that thing.
Oh, dude, that's not a bear. That's not a bear. That's not a bear.
You can clearly hear 2 loud wood knocks at the beginning of the clip. It's worth noting that these guys are quite familiar with Bigfoot-related phenomena. At first, they assumed the massive, fast-moving creature they spotted was a bear, until they saw it sprinting upright through the forest on 2 legs. The creature's stride is enormous. Just 2 steps seem to cover more than 5 feet. In the slow-motion replay, you can get a better look at the towering black figure moving from left to right. The way it moves is both fascinating and honestly, a little terrifying. The story behind this particular video and its uploader, Ken's Carpentry, is quite fascinating. Unlike typical channels that focus on the paranormal, Ken's content is usually practical and straightforward, geared toward builders, offering construction tips, techniques, and occasionally footage of local wildlife, like bears. There's nothing supernatural about his usual uploads. But in December 2022, things took an unexpected turn. While out flying his drone in the neighborhood to search for and film bears, Ken captured something strange, something that clearly wasn't a bear. Eager to get a better view, he maneuvered his drone for a closer look.
All right, so I wanted to just show you a road near where I live called Bear Hollow Road. I'm curious if there's any bears down there. It's the first part of December, so typically you don't see them. But I just thought it'd be fun to take a look. I have a few minutes, so we'll go for a little quick ride and take a look. Well, the bumps are certainly out. You can see the sign over there. It is aptly named Bear Hollow. Let's go down and take a look. Saw a mother bear and 2 cubs this past spring. I don't know where they would be now. Whoa, what is that? What? I'm going to get out and take a look. What is that? I gotta turn around, I gotta get back there. I'll shut the camera off for a minute. I'm going to use the drone. What the world? What is that? Oh, that's incredible. What? No way. Are you serious? What? What is that? Oh, man. What the world?
One aspect of the video that sparked debate is the audio, specifically the crunching sounds supposedly made by the creature. The figure captured is undeniably large and moves with the long, deliberate strides often associated with Bigfoot, making it difficult to dismiss outright. That said, if Ken faked the clip, the person in the costume did an excellent job portraying the legendary creature. While walking through the woods with his dogs, the man heard long guttural sounds, similar to growling.
Something across that creek. Is it gross?
Bigfoots, according to numerous testimonies, emit a wide range of sounds, including high-pitched screams, hoots, roars, and whistles. One of the most famous is the Ohio howl, a prolonged howl recorded in Ohio that resembles both an animal roar and a human scream. Loud knocks on wood are also often mentioned, the so-called wood knocks, which can be a form of communication or warning among individuals. In some cases, sounds resembling primitive speech or its imitation were recorded. The so-called Sierra sounds are especially well known, in which fast, internationally complex speech is heard. Scientists are skeptical about these recordings, believing that the sources may be famous animals or fakes, but some of the audio remains unexplained. These sounds are still an important part of the Bigfoot legend. Let's check out a viral Bigfoot video recorded by a man named Edward from Georgia on October 5th, 2024. What he captured on camera has raised a lot of questions. For some background, Edward isn't into the supernatural or cryptids. His usual videos focus on hunting, fishing, and outdoor life, without any Bigfoot or conspiracy content. But in this footage, he films what looks like 2 military helicopters flying over a remote area, carrying something huge between them.
They got Bigfoot. Found him down here in Georgia. Got him dragging him with that helicopter. Wonder where they're taking him.
The footage is shaky since he was filming while driving, but even when zoomed in, you can clearly see something large, dark, and heavy hanging below. The size is unusual. Whatever it is, it's big enough to need 2 helicopters. This isn't a typical military transport. Many speculate it might be a captured Bigfoot being airlifted out of the wilderness by the government. It sounds wild, but Edward's background makes it more believable. He's not a clout chaser, a known hoaxer, or involved in paranormal circles, just an ordinary outdoorsman who happened to record something strange. What's really unsettling is that since posting the video, Edward has gone completely silent. No replies, no comments, no new posts. For someone usually consistent, that silence is suspicious. Some think he might have been pressured or warned to stay quiet. I'm not saying that's certain, but it's hard to ignore. So, what do you think? Was this an accidental glimpse into a real Bigfoot operation, or is there something else going on? Either way, it sparked a lot of buzz, and for good reason. Okay, So I've seen this photo probably dozens, maybe hundreds of times over the years. I've seen close-ups of just the face and full body shots too, but it wasn't until Maria T. from Northern California sent this to me and pointed something out that I finally noticed. Look at the chest area. Are those breasts? I've been watching this kind of footage for years, and I never realized what looks like female anatomy before. Now I'm second-guessing everything. This has to be a female Bigfoot, right? The proportions are almost human-like, although the hair coverage is thick. Part of me thinks it's some elaborate hoax, maybe someone in an incredibly detailed costume. But on the other hand, it really does look like a female Bigfoot. I'm not sure. What do you think? I know this footage has been around forever. I've seen it too. I just never noticed this before. I even tried a reverse Google image search but didn't find much. If you know the story behind this, please share. On May 4th, 2013, in Wayne National Forest, Ohio, he ventured into the woods that Saturday, seeking tranquility. Around him, water tumbled from nearly 90 feet high into the cave floor below. The roar was loud, yet soothing. Standing beneath the cascade, he let the water splash onto his hands, focusing solely on the present moment. He recorded the waterfall to preserve the memory of the day. However, that evening, when he returned home and reviewed the footage on DVD, something unexpected caught his eye. On the distant ridge above the trees, a massive figure moved. It was a large, dark silhouette, too big to be human, and too fluid in its motion to resemble anything familiar. It silently traversed the ridge, almost as if it had been observing him all along. The camera captured this enormous form, walking upright, before it vanished into the forest. He hadn't noticed it at the time. No sounds, no visual cues. But now it was evident that whatever it was had been nearby, watching him from above. Perhaps it was assessing whether he posed a threat. Maybe it had approached closer than he thought. And perhaps, in the quiet shadows of Wayne National Forest, something ancient still roams the ridges. We're diving into a highly intriguing image reportedly captured near Saul Duke Campground in Olympic National Park, Washington, a region steeped in dense forests and remote trails, making it a hot spot for reported Bigfoot activity. At first glance, this photo appears to be just another serene snapshot of the Pacific Northwest wilderness. But upon closer inspection, something strikingly unusual appears between the trees, a dark figure seemingly observing from a distance. The photo was taken in a remote forest, just off the Lover's Lane Trail, and the natural lighting suggests it was snapped in the late morning or early afternoon. The area is known for its heavy moss, thick undergrowth, and towering trees, all providing ideal natural camouflage for any elusive creature trying to stay hidden. That alone already sets the stage for something compelling. Now focus on the figure partially obscured between two large trees near the center of the frame. Unlike the surrounding environment, this form stands out for its dark, matte texture, consistent with thick hair or fur rather than bark or shadow. Its head appears dome-shaped, and although details are blurry due to distance, the silhouette strongly suggests a broad-shouldered, upright posture. The stance is rigid, not hunched like a bear, and the limbs appear proportionally long, a common feature reported in Bigfoot sightings. What further supports this as a potential Bigfoot capture is the apparent stillness of the figure. Unlike a person or known animal that would typically react to nearby human presence, This figure remains motionless, almost blending into the shadows, as if observing, calculating. There is no clear indication of clothing, and no visible facial features or equipment that would suggest a hiker, hunter, or backpacker. In conclusion, while we can't definitively claim this is Bigfoot, the figure in the photo checks many boxes commonly associated with credible sightings: the setting, proportions, posture, and behavior. A man recently shared a TikTok video detailing a strange encounter at a known Bigfoot hotspot in Oregon. While standing by a quiet lake, he noticed something unusual across the water and managed to catch it on camera. He claimed the figure was a cloaked Bigfoot, almost invisible and blending seamlessly into the surroundings. According to him, this could explain why clear sightings are so rare, suggesting Bigfoot may have a natural ability to cloak itself or bend light in a way that mimics camouflage. The footage shows a subtle, shifting form, difficult to notice unless you're really paying attention. It's certainly odd. Bigfoot? Hard to say. While driving deep into the mountains near his uncle's remote property in Whitefish, Montana, a Reddit user was on the lookout for wildlife like deer or bears. At one point, he stopped his vehicle after spotting what appeared to be a moose or elk, partially obscured by dense brush. But when the creature turned and locked eyes with him, everything changed. He'd heard the old legends tied to that region, stories of the Wendigo among them, and suddenly, he couldn't shake the unsettling feeling that something else was out there. What he actually saw remains unknown. While scouting for a new fishing spot, a man flew his drone over a quiet lake in northern Maine. He wasn't searching for myths, just enjoying a peaceful day. But later that evening, as he reviewed the footage, he noticed something strange. Near the forest edge, a tall, dark, fur-covered figure walked steadily on two legs. Startled, he returned to the area with his drone to try and capture it again, but the figure was gone. He later uploaded the footage online, hoping someone could help identify what he had recorded. The man came to an abrupt stop, his boots crunching softly against the forest floor before everything went still. The night air was thick and unnaturally quiet. No insects, no rustling leaves, no distant hoot of an owl, just silence, the kind that seemed to press in from all sides, muffling even his own breath. It was the kind of silence that didn't feel empty, but full, like something unseen was holding its breath with him. He slowly raised his flashlight and swept its narrow beam across the dense tree line ahead. The trees loomed like dark pillars, their trunks vanishing into a canopy that swallowed the stars. And then he froze. Two glowing eyes stared back at him from between the trees. They were far apart, too wide to belong to any known forest animal, and they were high, unnervingly high, at least 7 feet off the ground. What was more unsettling was their stillness. They didn't blink. They didn't shift. They didn't retreat into the brush like a startled animal. They simply stared. As the seconds ticked by, he felt his heart thudding harder in his chest. The longer he looked, the more unnatural those eyes became. They weren't just glowing. They seemed to reflect his flashlight with a depth and awareness that made his skin crawl. They were large, disturbingly so, and full of something he couldn't name. Not curiosity, not fear, but focus. Intelligence. A cold knot twisted in his stomach. This wasn't a raccoon. This wasn't a bear. He wasn't alone out here. Whatever it was watching him. Deliberately, patiently. He could feel it in his bones. A heavy, silent presence just beyond the trees, waiting. His breath hitched. For a fleeting, irrational second, one impossible thought clawed its way to the surface of his mind. Could it be Bigfoot? A startling new video was just released on June 20th, 2025, originating from the Appalachian Mountains. The caption states, "I've never experienced anything like this in my life, nor has my grandson. We need answers." The uploader adds, "This is my neighbor who frequently trespasses. They saw me returning and charged at me, attempting to grab my camera or myself. They neither speak nor respond. Honestly, this doesn't seem like any neighbor I know. Let me know what you all think." A dark, hairy, small humanoid creature is seen running through the forest directly in front of him as he attempts to hide. It moves with a peculiar, hunched gait, almost as if it's injured or something similar. The creature then runs directly past the man, pauses to sit and stare at him for a few moments, and then suddenly lunges toward him before the video abruptly ends. Online viewers are going wild over this clip. One commenter claims those sounds aren't human, while others suggest calling the police and never venturing into the forest again. Many speculate that it could be a feral person, a member of a lost tribe, or some kind of baby Sasquatch. The idea of isolated, feral human groups surviving in the remote Appalachian Mountains had been part of regional folklore for centuries. Although there's no verified evidence of truly feral tribes cut off from society today, the Appalachian wilderness, with its rugged terrain and deep hollows, has long inspired stories of hidden people, wild men, and lost communities. Before European settlers arrived, indigenous groups like the Cherokee and Shawnee Creek told legends of small beings, spirits, and lost tribes dwelling deep within the forests and mountains, often reclusive, mischievous, or dangerous. The Cherokee, for example, spoke of Unisunsti, small, secretive creatures inhabiting remote mountain areas. Some lore also references giant races or ancient tribes that were wiped out or driven into hiding by conflict or disaster. So, could this be evidence of a member of a lost tribe? Or perhaps some kind of Sasquatch? Whatever it is, it's one of the most mysterious and unsettling videos we've come across, raising more questions than answers. Let's take a look at another remarkably clear and close-up piece of Bigfoot footage, one that's flown under the radar. Originally filmed in late October 2023, this video has only been viewed by about 30,000 people, making it a hidden gem to this day. It was shared by WV Paranormal on TikTok, a family-run account dedicated to the bizarre phenomena they encounter on their remote property, from unexplainable creatures to ghostly sightings. Their page is filled with truly strange and unsettling content. The family is believed to reside deep within the Appalachian Mountains, a region steeped in mystery and folklore. Given the area's long history of unexplained encounters, and it's no shock that they regularly experience the extraordinary. But this particular moment stands out. While the father was walking through the woods behind his home, he spotted a figure that stopped him in his tracks. A tall, upright, hairy humanoid figure standing completely still, seemingly trying to blend into its surroundings. Once it realized it had been seen, the creature turned and lumbered back into the forest, disappearing from view. The video captures both moments, the creature standing frozen in its slow retreat. With surprising clarity, it's easily one of the more convincing Bigfoot clips out there. Now, the Appalachian mountain range runs from northern Georgia all the way up through Maine, and Bigfoot sightings have been reported in nearly every state along this ancient backbone. Some of the most active hotspots include West Virginia, known for its paranormal history, especially Point Pleasant, home of the Mothman, and frequent Bigfoot reports. North Carolina and Tennessee, particularly in the Smoky Mountains, where hunters and hikers routinely report encounters. And Pennsylvania, with its deep-rooted Bigfoot lore and a strong presence of cryptid research communities. It's highly likely that this family lives somewhere within one of these regions, assuming the footage is genuine. So, did this father actually capture a Sasquatch on camera that day in the woods? Based on what we see, it's not out of the question. At first glance, this photo seems completely normal. A woman posing with her dog during a nighttime walk in the woods. The camera's flash lights up the scene clearly, capturing a peaceful moment between owner and pet. But a closer inspection of the background reveals a chilling detail that transforms this image into something far more unsettling. Peering from within the darkness of a hollow tree behind the woman are two glowing eyes, fixed directly on the camera. Their wide spacing and elevated position suggest a large, broad face, far too high off the ground to match the eye placement of typical forest animals like deer or raccoons. The glow of the eyes is consistent with tapetum lucidum, a reflective layer in the eyes of many nocturnal creatures, but their size and alignment feel off. What adds to the mystery is the dog's behavior. Rather than looking at the camera or showing curiosity, it appears tense and withdrawn, staring downward. Animals are known to pick up on things humans can't see or hear, and this subtle reaction may indicate the presence of something or someone just out of sight. Although it's difficult to draw definitive conclusions from eye shine alone, the height, symmetry, and presence hidden in the background have led many to believe this may be more than just an animal. Some speculate this could be a genuine accidental capture of Bigfoot, silently watching from the shadows. Here's a rather well-known trail cam photo that's stirred up quite a bit of mystery. It was taken in H-Ton, Vermont, on September 3rd, 2010. Even though it's nearly 15 years old, chances are most of you have never come across it before. The image was captured by a local resident named Frank. His last name was never made public. According to the person who uploaded it, the trail camera had been set up near an apple tree to monitor wildlife activity. The spot was a magnet for animals, but instead of catching a deer or raccoon, it picked up what appears to be an unidentified creature. The figure was moving fast, which explains the motion blur. It seems to be crouched down, possibly eating something off the ground. Its body looks unusual, deformed even, and has patches of white where fur seems to be missing. Because of its position, it's hard to determine whether it walks on all fours or upright. Some believe the photo shows a female sasquatch carrying a young one. If you look closely, the white circle marks what's believed to be the creature's head, while the red circle supposedly highlights the baby. That's the basis for the Sasquatch theory. Interestingly, a well-known Bigfoot researcher named Steve Calls studied the image and estimated the shoulder height of the figure to be around 40 inches, within the range of a large upright primate. Meanwhile, skeptics featured on the TikTok page, "The Squatch is Real," have offered alternative explanations. Some think it could be a swooping owl, a person dressed in camouflage, or perhaps a mangy animal. Still, none of those theories fully explain the creature's strange shape and anatomy. Only one photo was captured, and no tracks were found at or near the site. So even now, nearly 15 years later, the mystery remains. That's what makes this one of the most puzzling and intriguing trail cam photos ever recorded. Could it actually be a Sasquatch? A new, undiscovered species? Or something else entirely? We may never know. Near Marshall, North Carolina, a neighbor set out to film an eclipse but ended up capturing something far more unusual. The sound wasn't from any bird they recognized. It stood out sharply amid the usual bird calls, as if it didn't belong. The locals took to online forums to debate its origin. Some thought it might be Bigfoot, while others believed it resembled a gibbon. Yet there are no zoos nearby, nor any known exotic pets in the area. Whatever the source, it left everyone puzzled and a bit unsettled. During a hike along a secluded forest trail, a group of women encountered something unexpected. They discovered a small, dark figure clinging to a tree several feet above the ground. Initially, they believed it might be an animal. However, upon closer inspection, the figure seemed humanoid, covered in dark hair with elongated limbs, appearing both shaken and curious. The women later described it as resembling a juvenile Bigfoot, smaller in stature, but unmistakably not a typical animal. They managed to record a brief, shaky video before the creature vanished, igniting online discussions about what they truly saw deep within the woods.
Is that a bear? It's not moving. What is that? What is it? Oh! Yeah, this just really doesn't feel right. Oh my god, did I catch that on camera? No, I saw that. I know. Okay, I'm leaving.
This next encounter might be one of the most unsettling alleged Bigfoot videos out there. The clip, recorded on July 5th, 2024, captures a man completely alone in a dense forest on a frigid winter night.
Something screaming down there. I don't know what this is, man. Something fucking screaming down there, man. Hello? Where are you? Show yourself right now!
Out of nowhere, bone-chilling screams echo through the darkness, loud, threatening, and unlike anything the man has ever heard. Clearly shaken, he calls out, and to his shock, something seems to respond. Could he have been communicating with a Bigfoot? If so, he may have narrowly escaped a dangerous situation, as the creature sounded extremely close and very angry.
Show yourself right now!
The terrifying howls continue, each one louder and more menacing than the last. Before the video abruptly ends, it is reported that the man fled in panic, running for his life through the snow-covered woods. While the video offers no visual confirmation, only haunting audio, it's fueled intense speculation. Many argue that the sounds don't match those of any known animal, including bears or mountain lions. Some suggest it may not have been Bigfoot at all, but another cryptid entirely, perhaps a dogman, or even the rake. Dogmen are said to be large, bipedal beasts with canine features, known for their eerie, wolf-like howls. The rake, on the other hand, is described as a pale, humanoid creature with a disturbing presence and aggressive nature. Whatever it was, the warning is clear. If you ever hear screams like that in the forest, run fast and don't look back. Today, we're taking a closer look at a highly intriguing photo submitted anonymously, reportedly captured on a trail camera in a densely wooded area of the southeastern United States. Right off the bat, let's address what's catching everyone's eye: the dark humanoid figure in the lower right quadrant of the frame. The subject appears mid-stride in a hunched or crouched posture, suggesting movement, possibly stealth. What's particularly fascinating here is the proportions. The limbs seem disproportionately long compared to the torso, and the figure has a notably broad upper body with what looks like a conical head, features commonly described in eyewitness reports of Bigfoot or Sasquatch. The figure does not appear superimposed or inserted digitally. There's natural occlusion from the foliage and shadows that correspond well with its surroundings. This adds to the image's authenticity and makes digital tampering less likely, though not impossible. Zooming in, the surface texture on the figure seems to show a matte, non-reflective quality, possibly thick hair or fur. There are no clear signs of clothing seams, masks, or gloves, but the resolution is low, so we can't completely rule out a costume. The blurry quality is consistent with many trail cam captures. Fast movement combined with low shutter speeds results in slight motion blur. One crucial aspect is the stance and gait. Unlike a human walking upright, the figure appears to have a more bent knee, forward-leaning posture, what some cryptozoologists refer to as the creature crouch, a position that allows for sudden movement and stealth in dense underbrush. In summary, while we can't definitively say this image proves the existence of Bigfoot, it's certainly one of the more compelling trail cam captures out there. The anatomical details, natural blending with the environment, and overall composition make this worth further examination. If this is a hoax, it's a well-executed one. But if it's genuine, we may be looking at a rare, fleeting glimpse of the elusive creature we've all been chasing. What do you think? Real, misidentified animal, or clever costume? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe. Kenneth shared this video with us, saying he believes it shows a Bigfoot climbing a tree. At the end of the clip, he was walking through camp early in the morning when he sensed that someone or something was watching him from the ridge. He zoomed in and out with his phone, and during the zoom out, it appears as if the creature reaches up with one arm to pull itself up into a tree. He didn't notice this at the time. His daughter pointed it out later when reviewing the footage. I reviewed the video myself, and it's pretty incredible. The camp host even posted a sign warning about Bigfoot in the area, suggesting this might be an ongoing issue, if it even is one. Watched the footage and was amazed by the hulking figure at the end. It's impressive how something so large can move so smoothly and easily to climb a tree. I appreciate him sharing this video with me. A chilling new trail camera video had recently gone viral, captured in Georgia and uploaded to TikTok by the user Dead Cinema. On April 19, 2025, the clip is stirring up quite a buzz. The post claims, "Unbelievable Bigfoot sighting caught on trail cam in Georgia. Witness the moment this elusive creature stares and examines our camera, raising more questions than answers." While the exact location in Georgia remains undisclosed, it was reportedly filmed in a densely wooded area. The creature in the footage has a haunting appearance, featuring jagged, worn teeth, a face resembling an ape, and an overall rugged, battered look. Its disheveled and weathered condition adds to the eerie authenticity. What's drawing the most attention is how close up and clear the footage is, making it all the more gripping. Skeptics argue that it could be an impressive example of AI or CGI rather than an actual creature, something entirely plausible. However, Georgia has long been a hotspot for Bigfoot sightings, especially in regions like the Blue Ridge Mountains and the broader Appalachian area. One of the most notable cases occurred in 1988 in the North Georgia mountains, where multiple witnesses described seeing a large, hairy figure and enormous 15-inch footprints were discovered nearby. Returning to the current viral clip, one top comment humorously states, "That actually looks more convincing than all those other ones that look like Bigfoot just got groomed at a day spa with hair all perfectly smooth." It's a valid observation. Many suppose Bigfoot sightings feature creatures that look suspiciously neat for something living wild in the forest. So, the ultimate question remains, is this striking trail cam footage genuine, or just a sophisticated hoax crafted with modern technology? In a small town in the south of the state of Washington battlefield, a young man was walking through a local park, wanting to capture the nature of the coming spring, but suddenly listening to the bushes and coming closer to check, he saw it. We haven't seen anything like this yet. The creature on all fours is approaching the guy very quickly. You can hear all the fear in the guy's voice when he saw Bigfoot, but the question is, why does Bigfoot move on all fours? After chatting with their friends, they came up with several explanations. First, if a Bigfoot is a primate, then moving on all fours, quadrupedalism, may be a natural part of its motor scheme, like in gorillas or chimpanzees. Such animals most often move on four limbs, using a fist gait when they rely on bent fingers. Further, moving on all fours can provide greater stability on difficult or slippery terrain, such as slopes, swamps, and dense undergrowth. In addition, it makes it easier to remain unnoticed by moving below the line of sight. In some situations, moving on all fours can be faster and more efficient, especially if you urgently need to hide or maneuver between trees. I'm interested in what you think about this. During a hiking trip through the woods in 2014 near Lake Ontario, a man heard strange noises in the bushes nearby. He decided to turn on the camera and record the following. In the footage, we see a humanoid creature that crouches down and avoids the camera and a human. Perhaps it is a young Bigfoot who first encountered a Bigfoot. This is typical of this Bigfoot breed, but in the freeze frame we can see a face, possibly distinguishable facial features, nose, eyes, a monkey-like face. While walking on the way home, the man came across something strange. Let's see.
So I'm currently walking down an abandoned You're gonna see it. See that? What is that? I don't know. That's the way I gotta go.
The author of the next video was invited as an expert on Bigfoot because activity, loud noises at night, and strange footprints were noticed on this guy's site. Let's see what we managed to capture.
All right, we're now in the southwestern corner of the property. Allegedly, this is where the guy said he had the most activity. That remains to be seen. It's a little spooky, I guess. It's mostly just quiet. Apparently they're building a subdivision over that way. Huh. Oh. What the hell was that? Ooh. Something walking. Oh, shh. Okay, all right. Okay.
What can I say? It's pretty creepy. A scary, massive creature is walking with terrible intentions towards the operator. We see what appears to be a classic silhouette of a Sasquatch-like figure deep within a forested area. The most immediately noticeable and unsettling feature is the glowing red eyes, which pierce through the darkness and vegetation. This alone adds a supernatural intensity to the sighting, giving the figure an almost mythical presence. The creature is largely cloaked in shadow, but its general shape is discernible, tall, broad, and seemingly covered in dark fur. His proportions appear humanoid yet oversized, with long arms hanging low and a pronounced bulky torso. From an analytical standpoint, a few points stand out. The red eye glow could be a result of reflection from the camera light, suggesting eye shine similar to nocturnal animals. However, Sasquatch is not officially recognized as a species, so this behavior, if real, could hint at unique ocular adaptations. Still, skeptics might point to digital enhancement, costume design, or post-production effects as explanations. I would like to see your activity in the comments section below the video, and also do not forget to subscribe to the channel. This will help you not to miss new videos. While hiking solo in the Canadian Rockies, a man was startled by an eerie, unnatural howl echoing through the forest. As he scanned the tree line, he managed to capture a few seconds of shaky footage showing a large, dark figure moving between the trees. Though partially hidden by thick foliage, the figure appeared upright and massive. The unsettling sound and brief visual have sparked speculation about a possible Bigfoot sighting in the area. While playing in the snow near the edge of the woods, two kids and their parents spotted a tall, shadowy figure moving between the distant trees. It immediately caught their eye. The thing was walking upright and looked way too big to be a person. The children froze, pointing as the mysterious figure vanished into the forest.
Where'd it go? I bet it's just some animal. Where is it though? I think it went into the woods. No way. I bet it's just an animal. It went into the woods?
The whole family was left stunned by what they'd just seen. Personally, I find sightings like this, where the entire family witnesses something, a bit more compelling. There's something about multiple people seeing the same thing that adds weight to the story. Sure, they could all be making it up, but what do you think? Do family sightings make encounters like this more believable? I tend to think so, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's take a look at a newly released Bigfoot sighting. captured on May 18th, 2025. This one was caught on a trail cam set deep in the woods. It was filmed in the dead of night, and while the exact location remains classified, is believed to have been taken somewhere in the US. Let's dive in. What really sets this clip apart is the eye shine. The creature's eyes are glowing intensely. If this were someone in a costume, it's extremely unlikely their eyes would reflect light in this way. Human eyes don't typically produce this kind of glow. That trait is more common in nocturnal animals. Now, some trail cameras can pick up a faint eye reflection in humans, but when we apply light filters to this footage, the figure becomes much more defined, and that's when things start to look eerily real. What we're seeing looks like an actual ape-like creature, just standing there, partially hidden in the foliage. But here's the catch. We don't have apes living in the wild here in the US. So, what is it? There's something undeniably human about this figure too. Maybe it's the upright stance, or maybe it's that strange, unsettling expression on its face. Whatever it is, it doesn't seem like a gorilla or any known primate. With more and more trail cams being set up across the US and even globally, we're seeing a surge in strange and unexplained footage. Not just of Bigfoot, but ghostly apparitions, dogmen, the rake, skinwalkers, and other cryptids. These cameras are discreet, always watching, and the creatures never know they're being recorded. And if you're into this kind of evidence, stick around. There's more Bigfoot trail cam footage coming up later in the video. While out on a routine trip in the woods, a hunter unexpectedly managed to capture something truly baffling on camera. A large, upright figure, quietly making its way through the trees. The figure appears massive and dark, moving with an eerie silence and fluidity that immediately caught the hunter off guard. As the footage spread, many viewers were left stunned, wondering if this could actually be solid evidence of the legendary Bigfoot. Could this be the real deal, or just another trick of the light? Here's another fresh trail camera photo, reportedly capturing none other than Bigfoot. This image comes from Harley Owens, known as Bigfoot Reports and Data on TikTok. The photo was taken in the Smoky Mountains, and here's what he had to say about it. On December 9th, 2024, I was out exploring my research area and decided to venture into a section I'd never been to before. I always notice a shift in energy when I'm near this spot. Feeling that familiar sense of being watched, Harley decided to turn on his back trail camera as he continued deeper into the woods. The area, surrounded by thick forests, steep hills, and rugged mountains, he describes as an ideal hiding place for Bigfoot. As he hiked, he began noticing more and more signs of possible Bigfoot presence. Things like broken trees, unusual structures, arches, and what appeared to be possible nesting sites. He even mentioned the hairs on the back of his neck standing up, a reaction he's learned not to ignore. After returning home, Harley reviewed around 2.5 hours of trail cam footage. At first, nothing seemed out of the ordinary, until this moment. That's when he spotted what appeared to be a face, hidden in the brush, watching him. The face looks dark and shadowed, with deep-set eyes, a domed skull, broad shoulders, and an expression that seems both human and ape-like. Harley claims you can make out its eyes, nose, cheekbones, and even its hairline. It's a pretty compelling image. So, the question is, was Harley really being followed that day? Was this the face of a hidden Bigfoot observing him from the trees? Or is there another explanation we're not seeing yet? Up next, we've got a chilling trail cam video out of Canada, recorded on December 22nd, 2024, around 8:40 p.m. In this clip, some kind of animal, or possibly an unknown creature, gets incredibly close to the camera. So close, in fact, that it's hard to tell exactly what we're looking at. But take a look for yourself. Its movements are odd, and at one point it lets out a deep, unsettling growl. Some viewers believe it's just a moose or maybe a bear, but not everyone agrees. Others think it might be something far more frightening, maybe a Bigfoot or some other unknown entity. A popular haunted TikToker weighed in, saying the creature's back looks too narrow to be a bear, and the snout seems too short to be a wolf. In the very first frame, some even claim to see a pair of intelligent eyes watching from the background. He also points out that the creature's movements appear strangely human. Honestly, I'm not sure what to make of it. The footage is definitely creepy, but because it's so close up and unclear, it leaves us with more questions than answers. It's all up for interpretation at this point. Now, while Canada is home to bears and moose, it is also considered one of the top Bigfoot hotspots in the world. British Columbia, often called the Bigfoot capital of Canada, along with Alberta, Ontario, Quebec, the Yukon, and the Northwest Territories have all reported a high number of sightings. If I started diving into all those cases, we'd probably be here for hours. So I'll spare you that for now. But let me know what you think was captured in this video. And with that, let's move on to more eerie trail cam footage. A security camera positioned on a family's forested property captures unusual movement in the trees during broad daylight. In the video, a tall, dark figure emerges, standing upright and partially obscured by branches. Its large frame and posture closely resemble descriptions of Bigfoot. The figure appears to silently watch its surroundings before slowly retreating into the woods. The brief but chilling sighting left the family both unsettled and deeply curious about what they had witnessed. Up next, we've got a pretty intriguing and mysterious Bigfoot capture that reportedly comes out of Alaska. This one originally surfaced in 2021, and what makes it even more interesting is that it was supposedly taken by a 10-year-old kid. Now, we don't have the full backstory, but it's believed the child was playing alone in the woods, likely not too deep in, just somewhere behind the family home, when he spotted something unusual. According to the story, he noticed a tall, dark, upright figure and had the presence of mind to snap a quick photo before running off. I have to say, that's impressive. At 10 years old, I probably would have just panicked and bolted. So, hats off to this kid for keeping it together. Let's take a closer look at the image. It's a bit blurry, as you'd expect in a moment like this, but we can still make out what looks like a dark, humanoid shape with a dome-like head. The fur appears long and black, especially around the head area. One arm seems to be extended to the side, while the other hangs naturally down. Now, a lot of people say this one looks like a costume, and to be honest, I kind of see it. There's something about the way the fur hangs, particularly on the arm, that doesn't look entirely natural. It's also worth pointing out that the figure doesn't seem all that tall compared to most Bigfoot reports. Maybe it's a poorly fitted suit, or maybe we're just looking at an unusual figure with some loose skin. Who knows? It's definitely one of those captures that stirs up debate. That's just my take. But what do you think? Is this one legit or another clever fake? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's check out some amazing trending videos. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with a friend. I'll be hanging out in the comments, so I'll see you there. what do we have here? This guy claims he's found a baby Sasquatch up in a tree.
Whoa. You see what I'm seeing? I see you, buddy. It's okay. Well, you can see the white of his eyes in the corner. I think I figured the secret out a little bit.
Now, I can kind of see what he's pointing out, but I'm not entirely sure. What do you think? I'd really love to hear your thoughts on this one. Honestly, it would make sense for Bigfoot to be in the trees. It'd make them a lot harder to spot or track down. But still, I'm on the fence with this one. This segment is a little different from the usual. I wanted to show you some new Bigfoot videos. But full disclosure, these ones are AI generated. It's becoming increasingly tricky to tell the difference between genuine cryptid footage and digital recreations. Still, I thought these clips were worth sharing. Not just because they're visually stunning and show what Bigfoot might look like in crisp 4K, but also as a way to highlight the key differences between real footage and AI creations. These two clips come from TikTok user Havoc Theory, who put together some incredibly realistic AI videos. The first gives us a close-up of Bigfoot's face. Aged, wrinkled skin, long shaggy hair, and strikingly human features. It's a fascinating interpretation. The second video is similar, but showcases more of a Yeti-like version. This one has lighter skin and bright white fur, perfect for blending into a snowy environment. Now, even though AI is advancing rapidly, there are still telltale signs that set it apart from real-life footage. For example, AI often struggles with micro-expressions, natural hand movements, and realistic blinking, either blinking too often, too perfectly, or not at all. Movements can also feel a bit off, either too stiff or too smooth, giving an uncanny vibe. These flaws often become noticeable when the creature walks or shifts its gaze. So, I hope you enjoyed this slightly different segment. Hopefully, it gave you a cool look at what Bigfoot might look like, and a better eye for spotting the differences between AI and real-world footage. Whatever it is, this image adds to the growing pile of mysterious and intriguing evidence that could support the existence of either Dogman or Bigfoot, depending on what you believe. A newly uploaded video, shared on June 25th, 2024, has only been viewed by about 1,000 people so far. The footage shows a man investigating strange sounds and movements in the woods at the edge of his property. Driven by curiosity, he ventured closer, and what he discovered was astonishing.
It's gotta be 9 foot tall. Hey, big fella. Hey, fella.
The short clip captures a massive creature emerging from the dark forest. Upon realizing it's been spotted, the creature turns and retreats, moving cautiously, as though trying to stay unnoticed. The man filming is left both stunned and intrigued, estimating the creature to be at least 9 feet tall. He describes it as a bipedal beast, covered in thick gray and black fur. When the frame is paused, the features closely resemble the descriptions of Bigfoot, though only the upper half of the creature is clearly visible. The video has convinced many viewers online that this could be a genuine Bigfoot sighting, and the man who recorded it believes so as well. Reddit user HeavyT7190 posted a strange video during a camping trip in Tulare County, which apparently captures a Bigfoot, a legendary creature. Let's take a look. A man in June 2017, while traveling to the country of 100 giants in Tulare County, California, on the way back, stayed at a campsite in the middle of which a deer creek flowed. Entering the water, He began to shoot a video. Then upon returning home, reviewing the video, he noticed something strange. If we look closer, we will see a black figure in the upper right corner. In the frame, a creature resembling a Bigfoot sits motionless, presumably squatting. The user also made a photo collage on which we can clearly see the shoulders and head of the creature. The broad shoulders are symmetrical and have the same shape, and the large head is positioned clearly in the center. This lends credence to the assumption of the possible existence of a hominid. This campground is located in the Sierra Leone mountains of California, which are still one of the busiest areas. There are numerous reports that there are also tents to the north and south of this campsite. Also in this district, there are caves with rock carvings that were painted by tribes who lived there 1,000 years ago. In addition to ordinary animals, they depicted Bigfoots. A few years ago, they wrote in the news about a Bigfoot on Avocado Lake, where a farmer reported that he saw their family near his garden. The image is too blurry to identify what kind of object it is. Skeptics say there was no good camera or video recording. Encountering one of these objects is traumatic. When you see it, your brain goes into shock. You're trying to figure it out, trying to make sense of the paradigm. Here is the well-known Ray Wallace footage. Although this clip is quite old, many of you may not have seen it, so I thought it would be worth sharing. I've noticed it gaining attention in recent years, so here it is. The footage shows a bipedal, ape-like creature moving through a field, seemingly oblivious to the presence of the person filming. It appears dark in color and has a stocky build, resembling other Sasquatch sightings. However, we can't accurately gauge its height, since it remains hunched over throughout the video, which is also somewhat blurry. What makes this footage particularly intriguing is the identity of Ray Wallace himself. Ray Wallace was a construction worker and road builder who became closely linked with the Bigfoot phenomenon in 1958 while working on a logging project near Bluff Creek, California. His crew found large human-like footprints. These prints were reported in newspapers, generating significant public interest in Bigfoot. The Humboldt Times newspaper published the discovery, which helped propel Bigfoot into popular culture. Almost a decade later, the most famous Bigfoot sighting occurred in that same area, the Patterson-Gimlin film shot at Bluff Creek. However, Ray Wallace is a controversial figure in the Bigfoot community. Many people, including some of his own family members, have accused him of fabricating the footprints. Despite this, a considerable number of people continue to believe in his accounts and the intriguing evidence he provided. During a moose hunt in 2015, Richen's late client captured Bigfoot tracks near Chalk Creek. Let's take a look at this.
These are Bigfoot prints. There's one there, and there's one here. It's in a line. And then there's another one there. Another one there. Another one there. Another one there.
The first thing that catches your eye is the size of what appears to be a footprint. For clarity, a standard work boot is shown in the foreground, and this supposed print overshadows it. We are talking about the fact that the length of the shoe can be doubled. This is an important point, because size is one of the key indicators that we pay attention to when trying to distinguish a human body print from anything else. More. Also, according to the author, with his height of 6 feet and weight of 220 pounds, having walked around the territory, He did not leave such dents on the ground as these footprints. This is not just a surface print. It is a deep, almost crater-shaped excavation. This indicates a significant weight, much higher than that which an ordinary tourist can withstand. The following video is considered one of the most astonishing Bigfoot sightings you'll ever come across. Recently brought to light, this footage hasn't reached a wide audience yet. Here's how the story unfolds. A young boy sets out into the woods alone, armed only with a camera and a flashlight. He had always been curious about what the forest looked like at night, despite his parents' warnings against it. On this particular night, he would discover exactly why they urged him to stay away from this specific area. As he explores, he begins to hear rustling sounds nearby, as if something large is approaching. Suddenly, a massive bipedal creature charges at him.
What's that? Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
The footage reveals an enormous figure, covered in dark hair, appearing to be a blend of human and large ape features. Just as it lunges toward him, the video abruptly cuts off, likely due to the boy's panic as he turned off the camera in an attempt to escape. It remains unclear what happened to him after the recording, but it's presumed he is safe since he managed to share the footage with the world, indicating his camera made it out intact. Perhaps the boy chooses to remain silent to avoid complicating his life or revisiting traumatic memories of the night he was nearly attacked by an unidentified creature in the woods. As expected, many viewers are labeling this as a Bigfoot sighting. What are your thoughts? This certainly ranks among the most terrifying Bigfoot encounters ever. Deep in the swampy forests of northwest Florida's Panhandle, a man named Freddy stumbled upon a strange set of footprints. They weren't scattered or wandering. These prints formed a perfectly straight line, something unusual for any typical animal. Curious, Freddy took some photos and sent them to the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization, unsure if what he'd found was even worth reporting. When the RMSO team examined the images closely, they spotted something familiar.
Check out this row of tracks I found. It goes all the way up the bank. I'm fixing to follow it up. And some of these strides are 4 foot long, Jason. I just thought about that. Just think there's no slide marks. Hey Jason, put a marker here, please.
These tracks weren't ordinary at all. Some strides stretched nearly 4 feet long, with clean, precise impressions. No sliding or dragging marks. The footprints led straight up a bank and disappeared into dense brush, which immediately raised some questions. Southern Bigfoot, often called skunk apes, tend to be smaller than their Pacific Northwest relatives, but smaller doesn't mean any less mysterious. In fact, sightings of juvenile Bigfoot are more common than many realize. In these tracks, they fit that description perfectly. Captured in a snowy, wooded area, this frame shows a tall, dark figure mid-stride, partially obscured by tree branches. The setting itself already sets a chilling mood. Remote, cold, and undeniably wild. But it's the figure at the center that makes this image truly compelling. Let's begin with posture and proportions. The subject is upright, walking bipedally. Its gait suggests a heavy, deliberate motion. Note the visible bend in the forward leg and the slight tilt of the shoulders. What stands out most is the length of the arms. They appear unusually long in proportion to the rest of the body, with the hand hanging well below the hip. That's a trait we often hear in eyewitness accounts of Bigfoot. The head appears somewhat conical, blending into the shoulders with no clear separation. Again, a common descriptor in Bigfoot lore. There seems to be no visible neck, which, while odd for a human, has been reported in many Sasquatch sightings. The body is dark, either covered in fur or heavily shadowed. Despite the soft focus, it doesn't look like it's wearing clothing. which raises the stakes of authenticity. Now let's address possible counterpoints. Could this be a person in a costume? It's possible, but there are no visible seams, zippers, or mask lines, even in close inspection. The natural swing of the arms and the postures suggest genuine biomechanics rather than someone simply lumbering in a suit. Environmental context also matters. This isn't a festival or a backyard prank. It's isolated, cold, and difficult terrain. If this is a hoax, someone went to a lot of trouble for a single frame. And if it's not, then we might be looking at a genuine brush with something unknown. In this compelling frame, we see what could potentially be one of the most intriguing images of a Bigfoot-like figure captured in a natural setting. The image, taken in what appears to be a cold, late autumn or early winter forest, shows a lone, dark figure moving along a path in a sparsely wooded area surrounded by birch trees. The figure in question is clearly bipedal and covered in dark, seemingly uniform fur or clothing. Its posture is upright, and it appears to be in mid-stride, walking away from the camera. What immediately stands out is its scale. While it's difficult to judge exact height without a clear reference, it seems proportionally large compared to the surrounding brush and tree trunks. The shoulders are broad, the arms hang low, and the head sits almost sunken into the torso, all of which are common traits described in eyewitness Bigfoot reports. While the photo is zoomed and the subject is somewhat distant, the environment appears natural and unaltered. The leafless birch trees and tall grass offer no signs of staging. Importantly, the figure is not blurry in a way that suggests motion blur or digital manipulation. It simply appears distant, as if caught on a handheld device with limited zoom. This lack of overproduction actually adds a sense of authenticity. Skeptics might argue this is a person in a dark outfit, possibly a hunter or hiker, but there are counterpoints to that. First, the build of the figure is unusually bulky, and the stride looks long and purposeful. Second, there's no visible gear, backpack, or headwear that you'd expect on a person trekking in such cold conditions. And third, the way the arms hang and swing doesn't quite match typical human gait patterns. Overall, this frame feels less like a hoax and more like a genuine capture of something out of the ordinary, whether it's an unknown animal, a local legend in the flesh, or something we haven't classified yet. The snowy stillness of the forest only adds to the eerie feeling that we may have just caught a glimpse of something watching the wild in silence. What do you think? Another misidentification? Or could this truly be the real deal? Let's discuss it in the comments. In 2009, high in the Colorado mountains, an area known as a hotspot for Bigfoot encounters, a figure covered in brown fur appeared briefly behind some rocks before disappearing, leaving only a pile of straw behind. Locals often joke that seeing a Bigfoot is a rite of passage, but this hiker's experience was anything but a joke. While navigating a rocky pass, he caught sight of something tall, cloaked in dark brown fur, lurking silently just beyond the boulders. It watched him motionlessly, then vanished the moment their eyes met. Instead of fleeing, the hiker made a daring choice. He went back. When he returned to the spot, there was no sign of the creature or footprints, only a bundle of straw tucked away behind the rocks. It looked like a makeshift bed or a blind. Was the creature eating there? Camping? Nesting? Or was the straw left as a clever decoy? What do you think he really saw? Could Bigfoot be smart enough to hide its tracks? A thermal camera recording, said to be over 12 years old, captured a massive figure in Alabama that some believe could be the legendary Sasquatch. The creature was estimated to stand close to 10 feet tall. While the footage isn't high quality, it was compelling enough to catch the attention of many researchers and enthusiasts. Still, due to its age and lack of clarity, drawing any definitive conclusions remains difficult. Jared spent his birthday alone, deep in a remote Idaho forest, where the access roads were closed and no one else was around. That afternoon, he launched his new drone to film the landscape. Most of the footage showed peaceful ridges and quiet woods, until something unusual appeared later in the day.
And I had, all the roads were closed, so I was pretty much the only, and I'm gonna zoom in here a little bit, slow it down, and you can just see this figure running through. This is in slow motion, and then a little bit later you'll see it in between the trees running through at full speed. It's very quick, but
a tall figure was seen sprinting through the trees. There were no trails nearby, no sounds, and Jared hadn't encountered a single person all day. The figure looked too large to be human and moved far too quickly for a bear on two legs. It disappeared without a trace. After searching the area thoroughly, Jared was convinced he was alone. To this day, what he recorded remains unexplained. A group of explorers embarked on a hike deep into an undisclosed remote region, somewhere in the U.S. forest lands. They were miles off the beaten path when a chilling sensation crept over them, the unmistakable feeling of being watched. That's when they decided to start filming, sensing that something extraordinary, or terrifying, was about to unfold. What they captured over the next several hours is nothing short of astonishing. Out of nowhere, a massive ape-like creature with dark, reddish-brown hair burst from the tree line, charging at the group. In a panic, they fled, but not before catching it on camera. Moments later, they managed to film it, retreating back into the woods. Believing the creature wasn't intent on harming them, merely warning them off, the team did the unthinkable. They went after it. With nerves of steel, they tracked the being and captured even more footage. At one point, it emerged into a clearing, offering the clearest view yet. And when the camera zooms in, it becomes increasingly difficult to believe this is someone in a suit. The hair appears naturally integrated with its body, lying flush against its muscles, suggesting this might be a living, breathing entity. Still, the footage raises more questions than answers. The mystery remains unsolved, and until we learn more, nothing can be confirmed with certainty. But one thing's for sure. This is some of the most convincing and high-quality Bigfoot footage we've ever seen. People constantly complain about Bigfoot videos being too shaky or unclear, but this one breaks that mold. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. This one deserves a real conversation.